Oh, it seems like they are off. Wait, what's happening? Hold on. Are they going? Is this real? Is this real right now? Can they hear me? Can Twitch chat hear me? Oh, we're live. This is real right now. This is happening. Okay. It just happened so fast. Hello, everyone! Welcome to the stream. This is kind of a last-minute little shindig. How's everybody doing? So, this is Willer J. Bradley on the microphone, solo commentating for now until my co-commentator shows up. But we got pretty good start. We got Kanzeon already with one bomb, which is a very good start because right at the beginning, you know, any item is really good, but starting with a bomb, that's even better. All right, let's see what we got here. They're both heading downstairs to go see Princess. So, let's get this started. I don't know how many of you are new to seeing the Zelda 3 Randomizer. Basically, in short form explanation of this, imagine every single chest item in the game that you can think of is completely 100% randomized, except in particular, like the dungeon item or like the dungeon items, like maps and stuff, are all randomized amongst themselves. But yeah, so imagine you go to Eastern Palace and you're looking for that bow, might not be there. That makes things a little interesting. So basically, same format as any playthrough of Zelda, Link to the Past, you know, collect the 7 crystals, head up, and kick some Ganon butt. So they're basically on the lookout for the key items that they need to succeed and beat this game. Kanzeon picking up a piece of heart right off the bat. Looks like we're not getting too much starting out. Okay, so the first 2 items were 50 rupees and a piece of heart. Interesting drops. Oh, wait. I missed one. Where'd that? Oh, did Link's house have a bottle with a bee in it? Nice. Hopefully they use that. Always love to see some bottle action, some bee action against like Mothula. Also makes for some very entertaining Aga fights as well. It seems like Kanzeon had a little bit of an easier time against the guard with the big key. Isn't Even My Final Form going for the pot to finish that up. So, Isn't Even My Final Form is going to be running a little bit behind. Oh, there we have it. There's the dungeon map right next to Zelda, holding out. That's good. That assures that the rest of the items amongst Escape are going to be either key items. I think they might have 1 key left to find as well, but I could be incorrect. So yeah, let's get some, we got some time for a little bit. Let's get some, you guys want some stats? You guys want some stats on these 2 players? So, they're both relatively new to Randomizer SRL based on my snooping around. For instance, Isn't Even My Final Form, this is their first official SRL race, unless they've been racing under a second name, I don't know. But I did do some snooping around amongst their Twitch channels when they've been streaming. I saw one of them had a few streams titled Randomizer Bootcamp. Day 1, day 2. So they've definitely been training, and I actually got some nice little tidbits right here. Both of them, I grabbed their last 5 races, and Kanzeon had about an average of a 202, while Isn't Even My Final Form had an average of about a 211. So based on just those stats, these racers are pretty neck and neck. But you want to know something else that's a little interesting? Kanzeon actually comes from a background of running No Major Glitch, one of the most popular of the Link to the Past speedrun categories, where he holds a 1:37:30, which is pretty good. Really good. If you check out the speedruns.com, that falls into a... Where is he at? Where are you at? I mean, there's a lot of people in this category, but he falls into number 112 place for that category. That's pretty... I'd be happy with that. Anyway, back to the race. There's some stats for you guys. Hope you enjoyed that. So it looks like... There it is. There's some more bomb drops. I'm interested to see what Isn't Even My Final Form is looking for. Kanzeon is checking out to see what we got in the back door. We got a second bottle, a heart container, and a red rupee. More bottles is good. It's not that great, but it's good. Imagine if, imagine if you found like Titan mitts right there, or boots. How different of a run that would be. But hey, second bottle, it just makes you know that you're in for a good race. Isn't Even My Final Form, finishing up that section as well. So yeah, anything can really happen at this point. What do we got? Oh, and that's in the randomizer. There are several chests with blue rupees, red rupees, and green rupees. That was number 1 of 2 green rupees that you can find. And I should have had a pencil, but it looked like Eastern was a crystal. I'm gonna write that down. And Hera was the green pendant, which is also really good to know. Green pendant important if they feel like checking on our boy Sahasrara, who may hold the key to victory in this game. Oh, that's interesting. A pop-up just happened on my computer. No. Kanzeon changing his... Okay, he was going for an enemy kill to... Oh, that was really smart. The first tree pull triggered arrow drops, and then he killed an enemy, which made bomb drops. I didn't know that. That was very smart. Hello. Okay, we got my co-commentator popping in real soon. My buddy, in the name of GT, you guys all know him. He just did a race, commentating. He's got that smooth, buttery voice. Is this him?
Good evening, everybody. Will, how's the race going so far?
It's going pretty good. They have found literally nothing. 2 bottles has been the most of what they've done. So
Quite
yeah,
a barren escape, then, it would seem.
Yeah, I think one bottle was in Link's house, and the other bottle was in the 3 chests at the end of Escape. So.
Okay. Well, I see them both a bit shy on rupees at the moment, but at least they have that bottle to check the sick kid.
Mm-hmm. I actually missed what was in north of Lumberjack Cave, so let's take a peek. It was a bomb upgrade. So as of right now, no AGA is required.
There are circumstances that may change later on. We catch a glimpse of the map, and the only crystal in the light world is at the Eastern Palace, and that was number 6.
Oh, was Desert Palace also a pendant?
It appeared that Desert Palace and Tower of Hera were green and blue, although I did not catch which one was which.
I believe Hera was green. Yeah, so basically, if you defeat Aghanim, it unlocks a tree that you can dash into when you get the boots, and then that allows you to get the item that's in the cave. Some races have required that, some races have not. So this one has not required it so far. And it looks like Blind's Basement is not really holding anything either.
No.
Just a bunch of money and hearts. Wow.
Money and hearts are always good. But that's it's quite surprising to see so few actual items this early on. There's always at least that one thing, but we still have a lot more ground to cover, of course.
Yeah, there's still plenty of chests left to check in Kakariko Village before we head out. I've also seen several times where every chest is a heart piece, and you're like, well, thanks for the love, guys.
That might not be such a bad thing. The race that I just came from, midway through, about an hour in, our runners only had about 7 or 8 heart containers in total, so...
Oh, wow.
Not a healthy seed.
Yeah. Oh, and we got the red mail right off the bat. Okay, that's going to definitely play a part. That is a nice find. Still doesn't really help them, advance, but it'll be good to find. It'll be good to have in the long run. Ooh. Bottle guy with some 10 arrows. That's gotta hurt.
You spend 100 rupees on it, and you wonder why afterward. Oh, and we're blowing up the north end of the house.
The choice bomb throw. That's nice.
So checking the back of the chicken house, we're finding a piece of heart for Kanzeon. Yet another one, I should say.
Wow. That's... I'm actually impressed at this point. What is the probability of finding so many hearts and nothing else? Something's got to give. We're going to get something good, like right here.
We get the boots. It is fantastic.
That is good.
Though I must say, at this point, it only opens one other location that I can think of, being a bonkable set of rocks on the same screen as the Sanctuary.
Mm-hmm. And we've seen some racers who have waited and or forgotten about that place as well, because it's kind of easy to forget.
Oh, certainly.
Oh, it also opens up library items, so maybe that will...
yes, it does. I'm so sorry.
No apologies necessary.
And the Moon Pearl, so that is a fantastic item.
Mm-hmm.
And Final Form is going to be right on the heels of Kanzeon in just another moment. So early on, we don't expect too much deviation in their routes. It'll be interesting to see what happens, though, as these two players get the items from Kakariko. We have a heart container, yet another heart substance in some way, through the sign maze. And we're just going to save and quit right out and head back down to Link's house. Check the dam, check the Mulderum Cave. Great places to take a look.
And having the boots is also nice really early, because it kind of gives you the chance to, maybe I can go run over to Ice Rod or run over to the cave in the desert, because those are usually pretty out of the way if you don't have the boots. It takes a lot of time to walk that way.
Now, those are fantastic points. Places that a lot of people put off until a little bit later on. Perhaps they'll find the flute. They can quick warp to number 8, head north, and save a little bit of time.
And you can see a little bit of frustration from Kanzeon grabbing that heart container. He's wanting more. This isn't enough for him.
So he's going to see this heart container as well and turn around. He's not saving and quitting, though.
Oh, there it
now
is.
He is.
Okay.
There we go. Right on the next screen.
And we got a 50 rupee drop. That's some interesting location to put some money.
Early on, it's still good to pick up all of these stray rupees. 50s, miscellaneous hundreds, perhaps even a 300 in this next cave.
Yes.
The Zora item being the most expensive in the game. It could literally sell you a green rupee for 500, but you still have to take that risk at some point.
That'd be a good place to see the second green rupee in the game. And yeah, finding money early is very nice. The last thing you want to do is find yourself farming rupees and then Zora giving you nothing.
Bomb strats in the Mulderum Cave proving a little bit difficult. The erratic movement is never a guarantee for those explosions to hit them.
Fortunately, he has... Hey, you called it! Generous guy with the 300 rupees. And
another
300! And a red rupee just for fun.
And a 50?
Oh my gosh.
So,
jeez.
A total of, if my math is correct, and that's not my strong point, 720 rupees there? That's 2 50s, 2 300s, and a 20.
That's some big money.
He should be set for
the rest of the game. He might even be able to grab like a potion or whatnot for safety if needed. Oh, Kanzeon, what are you? Okay, it looked like they were gonna go possibly hit up Ice Rod, but change of heart. Oh, going straight to Zora. Interesting. Oftentimes you see people when they fake flipper, they'll swing by the little island in Lake Hylia to check to see what that is, as well as head up straight to Hobo Bridge, see if Hobo's holding out on anything.
Now, I don't know if you noticed, I for one thought that as he was about to get onto that dry land, he was going to get hit by the crab while he was still in water, which would have provided an instant kill being in the fake flipper state.
Yes, that would have been quite a sight to see, because they actually recently changed that, because before it sets you into a kind of a interesting little phasing cycle where you basically soft lock the game. So, oh, and Zora with the fire rod.
That certainly pays off. There's a very good chance of actually it's going to be required that it is needed for a dungeon, since 2 of the pendants are in the light world. We know that between Skullwoods or Turtle Rock, at least one of those will be necessary.
Let's see. Looks like he's heading to Sahasrara. If I was a betting man. Yes, it looks like it. Interesting. Now, remember, we still have lots of spots we could check, including like Ice Rod, as well as Hobo, and the island in Lake Hylia. We can't get to that island yet, but it's always nice to have that information for the future. isn't even my final form, so even quitting going to Sanctuary, you think he's going to hit a bonk the little pile of rocks on the left? Oh, looks like it.
Not a bad place. Easily forgettable, as you had mentioned, but happy to see that it's going to be visited again so soon.
And was that... We have the Butter Sword behind Sahasrara. That is an incredible find. That's a game changer. Oh, and so
is that.
Wow. You know, here's the thing. That, as I said earlier, that little pile of rocks is easy to forget. It'd be a shame if Kanzeon was to forget entirely about that and miss out on the silver arrows. I personally would pick silver arrows over, but no. What would you pick, butter over silver? What do you think, DT?
I mean, if we're literally picking one or the other, I would have to go with silver on the chance of getting tempered at some point.
That is true. That is a good point.
However, if we're strictly thinking which one is better, I still might have to go with the silver arrows, just because Helmasaur King, for example, takes one hit with those. Of course, Ganon is infinitely easier, basically no matter which sword you have.
Very good point. Oh, and it seems, I missed this, that book was also alongside with the Butter Sword. So that's some good items to have early on. Unfortunately, Desert Palace is merely just a pendant dungeon, but...
a couple of quick chest locations never makes it a bad idea to go into.
No. Especially the item on the ledge. It's good to grab. Unfortunately, they don't have the exact items that they need to finish Desert, since you need the Power Glove and or Titan Mitts to get to the second section of it.
And beyond that, a fire source would be required, although Kanzeon does have the fire rod.
Oh, and someone in chat makes a very strong argument that silver by itself is kind of useless. That is a very good point.
That's true. It would need to be polished and sharpened and given a point. I'm not sure how they put that little sparkle on it as it flies, though.
Give it it needs a purpose, needs a reason. It needs some guidance, I'd say. Kanzeon electing to continue Eastern Palace despite not having the bow, hoping maybe for a useful item.
No shortage of heart pieces still as we continue on through the Eastern Palace.
This is the heart piece seed.
As we know, there are going to go as well.
Yes. Would be nice to find that Butter Sword and book as well. Looks like that is where they're heading.
I don't know about you, but I'm wondering at this point, running out of locations to check. Well, I stand a little bit corrected. With Kanzeon is fully able to go ahead and complete the Desert Palace, but I wonder at what point our runners might decide to go and check Aghanim.
That is a good point to think about. Despite the fact that Lumberjack Cave does not actually hold anything useful, having the Moon Pearl at this point, it would be a surefire way to get to the Dark World and check what's on Pyramid, as well as some other overworld items before heading to the next dungeon in the Dark World. Kanzeon is electing to check the big chest. I have not been... Ooh, it was bombs. Okay, that's unfortunate. I'm assuming Kanzeon was counting items, and that was the third item. Did not pay off. While IsntEvenMyFinalForm is going to skip checking the item on the ledge, I guess they just want that surprise, or they might have already saw it earlier.
I think they passed it earlier on the way back to the Eastern Cave. Although I might be mistaken. Either way, making the trek through and then heading out the west exit. Not a terrible loss of time.
Nah.
Kanzeon about to get the silver arrows. Going to be very, very happy there.
Alright, let's see what we got here. In Desert Palace, there are 2 items and 1 key to get inside of that you'll find inside a chest. That is the single key that they need to get into the right side. So it looks like they're going to go ahead and do that instead of checking to see what was on the lamppost that you would have to bonk with the boots. Not a bad strategy. Might as well knock it out.
And it seems Kanzeon's making the way over there as well.
Yeah. I myself have lost a few races by not checking on the right side. Oh, and there is the big key. Good choice.
Not a bad idea to come into Desert. We did say that it was a pendant dungeon, was that correct?
Pendant dungeon at Desert and Hera, yes.
Yes. So much like with my race last night, it's easy to forget to come here. Having the Cane of Somaria here in my instance was a little detrimental. So, in spite of the fact that it is a pendant dungeon and that there are only 2 unique items within it, it's fairly quick to get through. Not at all a bad choice this early on.
Mm-hmm. And if... Oh, hey! Mushroom find in the big chest. That is good. That might lead to something useful. Or it might lead to another item that might lead to another item. Everybody loves fetch quests, right? Alright, Kanzeon finally entering in Desert Palace. So, at this rate, it looks like since Kanzeon decided to do Eastern... Right? Isn't even my final form didn't do... Oh, Ocarina on the ledge. That is also a very good find.
If not having any sort of strength upgrade, that's going to allow for access up to Death Mountain. Only revealing another 2 locations between the old man and the inside of Spectacle Rock at this point, unless they happen to find the mirror up there. Yes. Or perhaps even the Titan's Mid, we never know.
Or a hookshot. Hookshot would also be nice. It would allow them access to the right side of Death Mountain.
I would wager that if...
potentially 5 more chests? 6? No, 7.
Mm-hmm.
5 above and 2 below, yeah.
I would wager that if Death Mountain becomes barren as well and doesn't yield any positive results, we might see our runners head to Aghanim soon.
I don't know about you, but I just want to see more heart pieces. I just... it hasn't been enough, clearly.
I do wonder what the odds are of ever seeing a full 20 heart seed without checking everything.
I think I did one where I was 1 heart container short, or maybe a set amount of heart pieces. Mm-hmm. It was pretty close.
Yeah, I've seen 16 and 17 not too uncommonly. Anything beyond that, I don't know that I've seen.
Oh, I do remember that Isn't Even My Final Form has not checked Zora yet, which is where the fire rod was located. But let's see if he remembers... Oh, and the flippers. Oh, that's funny. Flippers from the Witch's Hut.
That's a great addition, though.
Beautiful work. And it looks like Isn't Even My Final Form is going to pick up a couple of blue potions. They might not have 100% faith in their ability to conserve magic. So, especially without having any sort of magic upgrades, I believe that is a smart choice, especially based on how much money we have found in this game so far.
Of course. Having that backup plan is always a phenomenal safety. We don't know where the half magic item, or quarter magic even, could be located. It may be within a pendant dungeon that isn't necessary to go into at some point.
Or in the dark depths of G Tower. You never know.
No, we do not.
So hopefully we get something good from Old Man. What do you got? Cough it up. The shovel.
It's the shovel.
I love fetch quests.
It seems to be nothing but fetch quests. Heart pieces and fetch quests.
It's so great.
It's as if it's a Randomizer at this point.
Oh no. No, not one of those. I'm in for a very long race. I'm in for a treat. Now, I'm really hoping that Isn't Even My Final Form takes that trip over to Zora at some point, because having any sort of fire source is very nice for completing certain dungeons, and even using it as a weapon. Though Buttersword kind of takes the cake. And we got the Cane of Burna inside Spectacle Rock. Not very useful, and Isn't Even My Final Form is electing to not get it. He's like, I got a blue potion. I don't need this. I'm set.
It's interesting, though, because even though the Cane of Burna is less ideal than the Magic Cape in terms of the lag that it produces, it's still a very good safety item if you don't have the cape against bosses such as Blind, Vitreous, perhaps even, especially Ganon.
Mm-hmm. Amongst my research before this race started, I did watch some of both of their playthroughs, and it seems like both these players have some confidence when it comes to boss battles. So maybe they're feeling themselves. Maybe they don't need it.
Well, that's excellent. Strong boss execution is a strong point that any runner should attempt to have.
Mm-hmm. It's a game changer. We've seen battles come down to the Ganon fight, like races that just came down to one person getting the torch glitch, and that's it. Simple as that. But yes, we found... Go ahead.
No, by all means. I was going to say,
No,
speaking
no,
of
no.
game changers, finding the Power Glove, it seems Final Form's a little bit confused on where to go, although we know that this should fully open up the path to the Desert Palace and finishing that. You never know if Landmola may drop an item, although I don't know if Final Form wound up getting the Fire Rod.
Let's see. What items did we... I'm trying to count. It looks... I don't know if Landmola actually holds an item or if it has like the compass or something. I was not paying well enough attention, but it looks like IsntEvenMyFinalForm is going to go for that Aga fight. Good.
It seems so. We may see some divergence in their routes then, assuming the dungeon items within the Desert Palace have been obtained.
Now, the thing is, the Desert Palace is still a pendant dungeon, so it's not necessary to actually finish it. But that is true. Landmola might have something. Oh, and it looks like Kanzeon is going to check out the Ice Rod Cave, which is potentially a good item holder.
Check this earlier, though, I believe, and I don't recall it being anything particularly useful.
Oh, they did? I must have missed it. What was it, Red Rupee? Oh, 100 Rupee. Well, so this is going to be... the seed is just nothing but heart pieces and rupees. That's not entirely a bad thing, but not entirely a good thing. I'm interested to see what is on Pyramid once IsntEvenMyFinalForm gets to Aga Tower. That alone, as well, Fire Rod, game changer, but, you know, I would put money on the mirror being there, potentially. Maybe Titan Mitts would be the way to go.
There's a number of items that it could be at this point. Mirror, Titan's Mitts, even the hammer, since they both have the Moon Pearl, would allow access through Kakariko. Or perhaps even the hookshot. There's no shortage of ideas of what it could be.
That is a very good point. It looks like Kanzeon is choosing to do Desert Palace instead. Now this, if Landmola ends up having something useful, could be a huge gamble for Kanzeon that might pay off. If not, then it might be a little bit of a time loss. Ugh, it's the risk, but it's what makes it worth watching.
And I didn't see that pause menu, although I was hoping to. Although maybe Kanzeon made a mental note, knowing what items were still required within this dungeon.
I guess it makes sense. IsntEvenMyFinalForm couldn't finish Desert because they do not have any sort of fire source yet, because they have not been to King Zora. That is also true, as someone points out in chat. Neither of them have checked Hobo, despite the fact that they both have flippers. So, based on the game's logic, one could assume that Hobo could be holding on to something very useful.
Oh, absolutely, and we've actually seen that all too often in this tournament alone. I believe 3 or 4 races yesterday, had very game-needed items within them, between the Moon Pearl, Hookshot. Titan's Mid, I believe, was one of them, though I might be wrong.
I'd believe it, either way. That's incredible. Yeah, often or not... Go ahead.
No, please, you this time.
Often or not, a lot of racers, as we said before, the racers that choose to fake flipper will often go check Hobo, which might throw the logic of the seed off a little bit, but then it's paid off for some racers as well, having that, while others did not do that. But since both of these racers chose not to, it's very interesting. Actually, I don't remember if IsntEvenMyFinalForm did fake flipper. Chat, do you guys remember? Got any insight?
I don't believe so. But I have been wrong plenty of times.
Because I don't remember where he would have gone.
It is the Titan's Mitt.
Oh, that is a good find.
Oh, and only 20 rupees out of...
Oh, man, that's a game changer.
Although, interesting to save and quit before grabbing the pendant. If you're there, you might as well just grab it, because we don't know what's at the Master Sword pedestal.
That is a very good point. And they have the Book of Medora, so they both could go check to see what is at MS pedestal, so...
Yes, but for this point, certainly the right move, going to Aghanim and snagging that Titan's Mitt right after.
Oh, and we finally see it is a heart piece on Lake Hylia, the little island. And it looks like Kanzeon's going to go check to see what Hobo's holding on to.
Well, it may not be randomized, although we don't know which heart piece in the game it is, so... For all intents and purposes, it's a random heart piece.
Keep Randomizer random. I love it. Maybe Hobo will give us some heart as well. Alrighty. And we got... What do we got? Oh,
Ooh.
the mirror.
So now we have an even more interesting thing going on. They both have items that the other do not, that are going to be extremely necessary.
That is a huge discrepancy between the
mirror.
two racers. Oh, and it looks like Swamp Palace is the only Dark World pendant dungeon, which is kind of unfortunate since that is known to have... That has exactly about 6 potential items in it, so... You might, if we not find anything else, we might see racers popping in there just to check it out, but it's going to be a lot of time in the Dark World with all these dungeons with
That's
crystals.
for sure. I did catch a glimpse that the Palace of Darkness is crystal number 7, Ice Palace is number 5, so we do know where 5 and 6 are for use of the Big Bomb, and Turtle Rock was at least number 4. Although I was unable to see anything more. The Swamp Palace, as mentioned, is the 3rd pendant, so good to place in the back of our runners' minds for sure.
Oh, yes. And this is interesting. Let's see if Ether Medallion holds anything. Bombs. Okay. See, this is... Here's the thing. Once the racers decide to change which directions they're going, anything can happen. And as we know, Hera is the Green Pendant Dungeon, so this might also be another time loss.
As well as a fetch quest if we receive the Green Pendant and take it over to Sahasrara. Who knows? It could have a useful item, but if I had to place my bet at this point, and I'm not much of a betting man, Kanzeon's gonna need to wind up going through the Aghanim Tower very soon.
It looks like it. Unless the second item in Hera is a hookshot or something to help them progress. Because the first item was a heart container, so their options are kind of running out. This is a huge gamble.
Absolutely. Final Form is making very swift movement throughout the Dark World, checking everything that's possible in the immediate area.
Very good. It's very good to check everything at the same time, because it's so easy to... Oh!
Paying off yet again.
Interesting. That is a very good find. It
Not
seems
a bad move at all.
I would assume he's going to go check the Northeast Cave with the second generous guy, because... Also known as... Is that also known as the Hype Cave, if I'm not mistaken?
I believe all of them are known as the Hype Cave, although there might be one specifically that has more hype, but yeah, this one has commonly been full of hype.
Alright, what do we got here? Nothing yet, but we have 4 chests to check.
Red
Kanzeon
rupee
is
in
taking
one
on...
of them. Another red rupee.
Come on.
Third red
Oh, come on, let's go!
Awful lot of red in that cave.
was hoping
Kanzeon falls
for-
to Maldorm, oh no.
I was hoping for 4 red rupees. That's all I wanted. That's all I wanted. So, not very hype, but good to get that out of the way nonetheless.
Falling down a
ooh.
second time to Maldorm.
That is not fun, especially with the Butter Sword. It only takes 2 slashes to kill Moldorm. But Moldorm, to any runner of this game at any skill level, is not a very fun boss to
No, it contains the nickname Trolldorm for a very good reason.
Let's see what we got in King's Tomb. He's gonna grab the green pendant. Now, I wasn't counting items, but I don't know if Kanzeon actually got the second item in Hera, seeing as chat is saying that they did not check the big chest. Was that Quake from Tombs?
That
Yes,
was
it is.
Quake
We have
from
Quake.
yes.
And seeing as how we have to do both Meyer and T-Rock, that is potentially going to be very useful. And it looks like he's making a beeline straight to Meyer. There are a few chests we can check in here, as well as seeing which medallion is the right one.
I'm hoping that Kanzeon counted their items correctly, although with 2 locations correct or remaining, I believe they got 1 of the unique items. So either the map or the compass might still be available, but there is still another item out there, I think.
Which is unfortunate. We actually had a race the other day that a player just did not get the big chest. It did not check the second item in Hera, and it ended up being a big time loss.
Final Form's cleaning up the medallion count, grabbing bombos from the Meyer cave.
Unfortunately, Myers requires ether, so he'll still be on the hunt for that third medallion. I don't know about you, but this is feeling like a 100% item run. I'm hoping for it. Let's go. And it looks like Kanzeon has finally decided to take on Aghanim, while IsntEvenMyFinalForm is going to going back into desert, which is strange not having a fire source. They can't finish it. That is a very strange choice.
This will be interesting to see how it plays out. I always am curious as I'm watching these runs to know exactly what's going through their minds at the moment. How they're making the decisions of routing, what they might be thinking isn't even possible at the time. So this would be one thing I would love to see the gears turning for at the moment.
Yes. It's also it's such a hard mental game of just thinking, like, what haven't I checked? What have I checked? Which makes the race so interesting. And oftentimes racers will use some sort of checklist, or even like the item checklist is nice, but like they'll go even further saying, oh yeah, I've been to King's Tomb, I've been to Desert, checking things off. This is a very unfortunate mistake that IsntEvenMyFinalForm is currently making, assuming they still don't have the fire rod from Zora King, which I don't think they do.
Final Form didn't go to Zora? I don't believe so, but
I don't think so. I think they went to Witch's Hut, where they got the flippers, and then where did they go? I don't remember seeing Zora on the right side of my screen. So
we'll find out in a moment once we get to these torches.
But hey, you guys like close races? Because
there's not much deviation, or not much separating them. Yeah, we do not have a fire source. Oh no, he's going to pull on that wall for a moment, and
he's trying to get that torch down.
Certainly have a little bit of frustration at the moment, but it's still early on, and there's a lot to rebound from.
Hopefully they get the idea to go check Hobo Cave, seeing as that held the mirror, which basically, well, let's see. It's definitely a required item for Swamp Palace. What other dungeons? It's also very required for a lot of overworld, such as saving the blacksmith, checking Bombo's tablet, checking the island on East Death Mountain. Let's see. So after Kanzeon finishes Aga, he's definitely gonna be able to make a beeline straight over to complete Skull Woods. Now that since he has the fire rod, as well as check a lot of overworld stuff and very well catch up.
Very true. And it seems Final Form's going to head into Thieves Town, which was open previously, although never entered.
Saving that for later.
It's a difficult one to go into when you don't have the hammer, although in the seed that I just commentated for before this, the hammer was in Thieves Town next to the bombable floor.
Oh,
so you never know what the cards might lay for you.
I have never seen a good item in that spot, so that's very awesome to hear.
But the thing to consider is that not having the hammer through this dungeon, you'd better count your dungeon items very well between the map and the compass. If you have to come back here, you do not want to forget about that chest. We've seen it literally steal the competition right out from under somebody. Thieves Town lives up to its names, that's for sure.
Good. That's good. I like that one. There are exactly 4 items that you can get in Thieves Town. There are over 8 chests, 4 items, and 1 key. So the first item we got was a heart container. There's still 3 more to find. And since we're kind of running out of chests, it puts the fear into your mind and heart that maybe the big chest that's locked behind the hammer holds something very important. And there we have it. Kanzeon is now in the Dark World, has the Titan's Mitts, and looks like they are heading up to do Catfish.
That's the only thing up that way. Without the hook shot, you can't hook across. So I don't know what else there could be.
Yeah. It's also interesting of the amount of time save that they could have had they not gone to Zora already and had the mirror, because then, as you all know, if you mirror whilst in Catfish, it takes you right outside Zora's domain.
And it's usually a good 1-2 punch when the opportunity arises for it.
Let's see what catfish has. Rarely have I seen a useful catfish. I would love to see something
too often. I'm having a hard time picturing where our runners could head to after their current locations, though. There's a lot open. Oh my, that is a useful item in that chest.
That is a good find.
That's actually a fantastic find, although arguably slightly behind without having the fire rod, not fully checking everything in other locations. Having the hookshot is going to allow access immediately over to Dark Death Mountain, both the light and the dark worlds.
Oh, this is a huge gamble. Kanzeon deciding to go into Ice Palace despite not having the hammer. I don't know if that's just... That's very interesting. Okay. I think
considering leaving, yeah, I think that's a better move for this point.
I don't know. I still would... They have not checked Kakariko yet, so they only just got into the Dark World, so I would definitely go check those overworld chests first. Oh, we got the magic powder right next to Blind. That might actually be useful.
It certainly will, whether it be for the bat location, which is only a one-off thing, or for the numerous times that you need to heal from anti-fairies, as we see Final Form doing right now.
Very good.
There is one that's always hidden under that skull, and it's easy to miss if you're not considering it, but definitely a good thing to point out for those that are curious.
Now, I might have missed it, but it looked like he picked up the pot before throwing the magic, or did he magic right on top of the pot? Because you can magic directly on top of the pot, and it'll transform it into a fairy regardless.
I believe the skull pot was left alone.
Good. I like that. All right. Let's see if we got a good blind fight. This is our first, real boss, despite a land mola fight, but blind has been known to be very tricky.
The red mail and 11 hearts should make it quite a bit easier. We lost the sword beams. This is one instance in the game where sword beams are actually useful, because even though we have the butter sword, the sword beams are only going to do damage equivalent to the fighter's sword. Fortunately, in Blind's case, 3 hits to the head, no matter the strength of your weapon, is all that it takes to move on to the next phase. So if you're unsure of your ability in close proximity, sword beams can be a lifesaver in that fight.
Mm-hmm. And that's also a part where racers will often elect to use the cape or even the Cane of Berna if they're not feeling all that confident, or they have very low health, or maybe even if they have green tunic. Because when those 3 heads are flying around, it's a little wacky. Oh, Kanzeon making a bit of a mistake there. They actually went, despite having a key, they decided to go around the bottom section through that room that holds a key, and bit of a time loss, and then they ended up using the key to unlock the other door anyway. Oof. So that's kind of a bummer.
Fortunately, every dungeon does provide the suitable amount of keys anyway.
Yes.
But not a bad idea to grab one that's an extra and just move along with it.
Mm-hmm. And it looks like IsntEvenMyFinalForm is going to take their newly found hookshot and check out the east side of Death Mountain, which could hold plenty of good stuff since we've been getting so many heart pieces and rupees.
Probably the single best move that either one of our runners could take at this point. Mm-hmm. Kanzeon certainly not pulling off a bad one himself by checking Skull Woods, finishing that off. Curious to see if he mirrors afterward and goes up to the Master Sword pedestal.
I really hope, and this isn't biased at all, but I really hope MS Pedestal finally has a required item. We have not gotten, I don't think we've gotten that in a race yet. And
I don't believe so.
The fact that they decided to not get the pendant after beating Landmola, could see some regret. Could see some of that.
You could, but with Landmola being defeated, it's at least an easy trek to get back there, but not a desired one. Although, we do see Kanzeon's quite low on magic, and these Gibdos are not guaranteed to drop any in this game because of the random prize packs. I don't believe that there's enough magic there to shoot 4 Fire Rod. And he realizes that. He's got a mirror out. There was another chest he could have taken a look at for the time being, though. He's going to come back in and hope to find a little bit more, I suppose.
And IsntEvenMyFinalForm not finding too much in the 2 caves in East Death Mountain other than half magic. I might have missed another item, but it looks like half magic was the only good thing that they found. Which is always a bad feeling when you're like, oh yes, I finally got the hookshot. Let's go grab something, and then it's nothing. But there's still one more cave that they can get, and then they could also go ahead and do the Dark World, all the Dark World Death Mountain stuff as well.
So unfortunately, even with the red mail, the Mothula fight can still be one that even the most experienced runners have an issue with. The spikes that are in the room will do a solid heart of damage, full heart, regardless of what color mail you have. So coming in with only 4.5 hearts is not an ideal situation.
It's a bit of a risk.
We'll hope
They're using the
that,
bee. Oh, good.
my.
I wanted to see this. Yo, we got the bee.
That actually does damage him.
I just hope that it doesn't. I've seen it happen where, just right there, the bee actually knocked Mothula into Kanzeon and did some damage. So that's something you got to be aware of.
There we go.
There we go. Good
Nice
stuff.
finish. I was getting a little worried having only 2 hearts left, but that's fantastic to see.
I love seeing the use of the bee. You don't see that very much, so it's always nice. Shout out to the bee.
We have the red boomerang from the Spiral Cave up on Death Mountain.
That's not a very fun find.
No,
Especially
not
for
after making that voyage, but
Yeah, it's a bit of a trek. At
It
least
could
having
have been
boots makes
worse.
it easier.
sure.
Now, I keep telling Vitor, next time that they roll out a new update for the randomizer, I'm going to need some more bees. I need some more bees in my game. All right, we're going to find out what's at MS Pedestal.
Just couch cash. Move on along.
Very fortunate. Very lucky. Oh, and Isn't Even My Final Form does not know about or is choosing not to do the whole disappearing tile or disappearing block trick with the mirror. Interesting.
I don't believe Final Form got the mirror yet.
That is a good point.
That
For
would
my
make that
second comment,
difficult.
I would like to say that there is also a trick that you can use where if you push the second block on the left and then push and hook shot the right block when you're pushing it, you'll teleport inside of it, and then you can just hook a right and go upstairs and skip that whole section if you don't have the mirror.
Yeah, some of the block physics in this game are a little bit fun to play around with. Being able to shoot a hook shot or even a fire rod blast through a block as it's moving can be quite useful, especially in Misery Mire in the Torch Room. So we need the Ether Medallion, the one that
For
Final
both
Form does
dungeons.
not have.
Interesting.
We need to find that Ether Medallion, folks.
Well, he might as well throw out his other 2 medallions because they're practically useless.
Cadence
Oh, that
Solaria,
is
however, is not
Very good
useless.
find. All right, so delete. Oh, that's a good find.
That's a game-changing item right there.
And oftentimes you will find a good item in that first chest right there because that chest is also, you can get to it by bonking if you don't have the hook shot. So sometimes you'll even find the hook shot in that chest right there. I don't think Final Form realizes that they can't check the island without the mirror.
No, it will be discovered very quickly, though. With Kanzeon heading into Thieves Town, we'll be right on our way to get the hook shot here, finish off blind, and likely follow in the same footsteps as Final Form. And this will be nice because I actually missed what was in these first 4 chests on our last visit here.
Oh, and Thieves?
We got the heart container from the first one, a big key from the second one.
I believe the other 2 were the map and small key? I believe there's always a small key in the first 4 as well. Maybe.
There may be. I think that's actually a strong possibility. And yep, that's in chest number 4.
All right, it looks like Isn't My Final Form is going to take their bow, which, where was the bow again? I don't remember. And
I think we're going to have to rely on chat for
Oh,
that.
I remember. It was the shovel guy.
Yes. I believe that was dug up by, in the grove.
And the bow is definitely one of the required items that you need to beat the game, particularly for the mimic rooms in Ganon's Tower that are invincible to anything except for arrows. And of course, it's required to finish this dungeon and Palace of Darkness. But Palace of Darkness was a crystal, so yeah, it's definitely required.
Yep.
Alright.
So approaching 50 minutes on this, usually we can see some sort of clear lead or advantage, and to this point there really isn't anything standing out. Obviously Kanzeon does not have the medallions that Final Form does, but as we know, the only one that's required is the one that neither of them have. So super close in their routing. They've both been going nonstop, always thinking of new spots to check. And that might be the number one thing to take out of any of these seeds. They're both playing exceedingly well so far. I'm very interested, to see how this concludes as we go on a little bit further.
Yeah, this is a very good race. It's really nice to see two players that are on the same level, have the same level of game knowledge and execution abilities and boss fights. It really makes for a very entertaining race.
Yeah,
that might just come down to the wire.
Certainly makes it entertaining. I would say they're about evenly matched, just based on my observation.
It's unfortunate that these two racers have not ever faced each other, because then you could also grab those stats and put the head-to-head between these two. But at the same time, it's also nice to see players that maybe normally don't actually race one another, maybe due to time zones or whatnot, raced. Gotta love them stats. So yes, I don't recall, did Blind actually drop anything, or was it the compass? Because if Blind drops the compass, then that might mean that the big key, or the big chest in Thieves might hold something.
That would be particularly interesting because both of our runners managed to come through here without the hammer, so they would both need to remember to come back at some point.
I really hope that they're taking notes. Chat seems to be saying that Blind was holding compass.
All right, so that leaves an item.
Who wants to put some money down? Actually, can someone bet? Who wants to bet some kappas in chat that Ether medallion is going to be in that chest?
That would be interesting.
That would be ridiculous, seeing as we already got hookshot and magic powder. I don't think I've ever seen more than two items in the same dungeon.
No, that does seem a bit uncommon. I've seen several instances where there have been two, whether it be the mirror and flippers in Palace of Darkness at one point, or in another recent seed that I saw, Ice Rod and Cane of Somaria within the Swamp Palace.
Ooh. I believe in one race I did get Hammer and I think it was Hammer and Cane of Somaria in Ice Palace. And yeah, you love getting those back-to-back items. It's really nice. I was about to say, I'm excited to see IsntEvenMyFinalForm's quick Armos battle, but then I remember that he has the silver arrows, so it should be super easy. Run in circles, just to kind of it's a good way to intimidate Armos, wake them up from their little slumber. Whiffing a few arrows, interesting. Ooh.
Couple of unfortunate hops from the last Armos night there. Yeah, and I can't say I blame him. He did not want to get hit by that one-hit KO. Ooh, a hook speed that went very well, and then a ledge that we decided to jump off of. But we've seen several of those, not in this race, but throughout the tournament. Just that one flip of the button, you press that down key more than you realize, and we go skydiving.
Yeah, and also when you're in super speed mode, it makes the second you touch the pixel next to the ledge, you're gone. You fall right off.
Yeah, there isn't any sort of little hobble before you jump off the ledges.
So yeah, we seem to be getting a lot of compass drops from the boss. Very interesting. Very unfortunate, but also very hilarious. Kanzeon not realizing that you don't have to go through the Dark World a second time to go check the... Oh, okay, well, no, he looks like he's... No, that's smart. Gonna go check magic. Gonna go check Batcave.
Realizing it doesn't have the hammer, using the mirror to void into the area of the Batcave. And we've seen this provide an item that's been useful as well, so not a bad idea. It might get a little repetitive to say, oh yeah, this guy has dropped this before, but that's just the nature of the randomizer. Any item could pretty much be in any location, and it's all on the luck of it to know. So if you're nearby something, it's generally not a bad idea to go and take a look, even if it is only a one-item deal.
And the only unfortunate about dropping your portal there is that you end up losing it. So it looks like Kanzeon's not going to either gonna go all the way back around if they want to do purple chest, or elect to just skip it and come back. Oh yeah, Kanzeon, checking Death Mountain with that hookshot. Not going to find much until that hammer in Hookshot Cave. Though that half magic will also be very nice.
Very nice execution of the hook speed heading up that first staircase.
That is very good. Those little stone squirrels or whatever they can present a little bit of a problem. I believe someone in chat is asking, is there such thing as an unbeatable seed? We're in version 8 of this randomizer. We are still kind of playing around with some ideas, but for the most part, it is very well programmed to never give you an unbeatable seed. Yeah, that's all I have to say. It's very well done. I've had races where I'm like, where I can't find this one item. Clearly it's in G Tower. Clearly the game is broken. And then I ended up just forgetting to check C-shaped house or digging game, and that's where they were, so.
Mm-hmm.
If you find yourself saying, I don't know where this is, there might be a chance that you forgot it.
Yeah, there used to be a lot of instances of soft locking, specifically with like small key things throughout the Palace of Darkness. As soon as issues get reported, the team that's on this, they put a lot of hours into this, making sure everything's right and working correctly. And as a result of that, their hard work and dedication, there are very few things broken about the randomizer. One or two things may appear at some point down the road, although there's an extremely slim chance of that at this point. On that note, we do see a glimpse of the ice rod up on the floating island.
That is an incredible thought. I didn't realize that was there, and now I'm thinking that's why Isn't Even My Final Form was hanging out by that bombable wall up there, because they're like, I needed that ice rod, but I don't have the mirror.
Right.
I hope that they eventually make their way back there. Fortunately, they can grab that on the way to T-Rock. So that actually works out in the end. It's not too inconvenient if you didn't get it the first time.
That's true, as long as a mental note was made out of that.
Mm-hmm.
I actually hadn't considered that myself. But being that the ice rod's only required within the Turtle Rock dungeon for Trinax, that's certainly something to swing by and grab on the way back up.
All right, it looks like Kanzeon is going to go ahead and grab that ice rod. Very nice. Also, Feasel with the joke in chat saying that I have played every single seed, so I know that everything works. That's pretty good. Yeah, that's funny. That's funny. Actually, I did 2 randomizers, 1 controller for all of them, so it just kind of boosted my efficiency. Very nice.
I will be curious at this point to see which dungeon runners venture to next. They have numerous items that would allow for the completion of several. I mean, at this point in the run, almost an hour in, having this item layout, what do you think that you would do, Will?
I don't know, man. It's tough because, like, I love checking Overworld, but doing 100% Overworld is not always the most efficient. But having Hammer and Bow, I would definitely, as well as Hookshot. Oh, Swamp is not required. I would definitely head to Pod. Pod would be a good choice because Pod has 5 items. The only problem is they don't have the lamp, so they'd have to do it dark.
That's true.
And I don't know if either of these racers have any experience doing it in the dark.
And although dark navigation is never required, the lamp could very well be within Palace of Darkness.
Mm-hmm. That is also true.
So one of the most difficult things about playing these, watching from a standpoint of a viewership, you might have ideas that the runner isn't thinking of. You might see things a little bit differently, especially having a race. You know where items are. But it's difficult to process exactly where you need to go at times. And the best thing is that these runners, as I said before, have not stopped moving. They're always checking new locations, and that's the best strategy in the game.
We'll see later on, once they start running out of options, you can start to see them hanging out in the map screen or the flute screen or pausing, kind of running around, backtracking. We'll see how this goes.
And I feel like they may be getting close to that. There isn't a whole lot in the overworld left to check. Although now that they have the hammer and several more items, Ice Palace might not be a bad spot to go next.
That's actually a good point. Having the hammer and even Bombos or Fire Rod is definitely good to have for clearing out Ice Palace. But I'm of the opinion that the least amount of Ice Palace I have to do, the better. I love just doing the NMG route, which is literally you do the bomb jump and then you go beat Cold Stare and then you have a wonderful day. You go eat your Weetabix, call it a night. Yeah, I personally, if I was not the type to do stuff in the dark without the lamp, I would probably end up doing 100% of Ice Palace.
We're still waiting for Final Form to find the mirror, and we're hoping that's what he's going to head up and do right now.
Please, 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 please. Oh, looks like they're going to Ice Palace.
Ice Palace.
Which is unfortunate because when they come out of Ice Palace, they will have to save and quit since they won't be able to mirror back to go check Hobo.
No.
Oh, wait.
Fortunately,
Isn't even my final form already has the mirror. Never mind. Disregard, disregard.
Oh, do we?
Yeah.
I suppose the HUD is going to be updated then.
Blame the HUD. No, I'm just kidding. Whoever's in charge of the HUD is doing a fantastic job. I should also be tracking this well a little bit. But let's see what the Ice Palace has. And it looks like Kanzeon is going to go ahead and check the Bombos tablet, which could be useful. I know personally that the Bombos tablet had something useful. I will never forget that one. And it's the cape.
Have either of our runners checked the bumper cave?
No, they have not. And now that they have the cape, they could potentially check that and get something good.
Again, it's another one of those one-off locations. There's only one thing there. But it appears Kanzeon first has business in the Dark World desert area, the Misery Mire locations.
It looks like Kanzeon is going to go ahead and pick up one of the medallions, one of the useless medallions, and get some information for the future. I completely agree, Ampharos. Doing Ice Palace before Pod is a very strange choice, seeing also as that Ice Palace only holds 3 items, and it's just a complicated mess when you want to do all of it.
Absolutely.
Ooh, I like that. See, that's a good sign that this player is well-versed in the speed strats in this game. Doing the double Armos Knight kill with a single bomb is really nice to see. Let's see how well they do the Ice Bomb jump. Come on, first try, let's go.
We're going to go for that one pixel lineup. It looks like we have it. Nailed it.
Dang, I need
That was
teach
fantastic.
me how to Ice Palace bomb jump, please. It also makes me curious to see what they are streaming on, whether they're streaming on console or emulator, what their controller setup is. Very interesting, but very well done. Good stuff. Oh, it looks like Kanzeon is following as well. Maybe these players will be able to give each other a high five as they pass through Ice Palace. Since
It's possible that neither one is comfortable with dark navigation. I can't say I blame them for the reasons that we discussed.
Would you do Pod first if you could?
I may have, in truth. Using the hammer jump, it's not so bad to go and check out that bottom chest, and then, of course, you would have to mirror.
Yeah,
you
lose some time, but it does save you some trouble of having to go through the entirety of the maze in the dark.
Yeah,
and then the rest of the dungeon in the dark is really not that bad. That is very
interesting
nice.
that you would say that, actually. I would have to have an opposite opinion. I find the maze a little bit easier to navigate in 2 parts rather than the basement area, even if only because of the turtles.
I will say, though, that there are torches down there that you can light. That makes it very easy.
This is true.
But it's okay. I'm okay with disagreeing, but I want to say that's a very nice find. In the room with the 2 ice guys, getting that key early, it lets you just skip a lot of portions because you can just beeline it back and open up that door to go to the right side. Very good. That's what you want in this very quote-unquote fun dungeon. It looks like Kanzeon also knows the strats for taking out this Stealthos Knights. Did I say Armos Knights? No, I didn't say Armos Knights earlier. Kanzeon...
I'm going to go for yet another bomb jump. We'll see if it can be
if they can do it first try.
Interesting strategy.
That was clean. I like that. And then using the hammer dash to just skip right through that pod. That is really good.
Nearly had an issue with that fire bar, however.
Yeah.
Although I think he could have gotten right back to where he was in just another moment.
Yeah, you hate to do a bomb jump and then fall off the ledge. I didn't do that in my race. Nope. Totally didn't do that.
How many times did you do it?
Well, after going into my 3rd trip into Ice Palace... No, it's done. I'm over it. Moving on. So there is still one more chest left in Ice Palace, the room with the 2 jellies, and it looks like IsntEvenMyFinalForm is aware of that and is going to go check. I personally have not been counting chests, but I do believe they have not gotten all 3 items yet.
No, I think you're absolutely right about that. And we may
Oh,
see Kanzeon
interesting.
following in the same path.
Actually, Kanzeon is deciding to not backtrack with that small key, which is going to cost him some time. Because now he's going to have to go to the right side with the hookshot room with all the red jellies, as well as a few more extra screen transitions, which those add up. And we got a red rupee. Oh, how
Not
much
worth
like
it, but
how like
of course
this scene.
necessary to check.
I'm not triggered. I'm just reporting the news. Thanks, chat. Oh, triggered about Ice Palace. I don't like Ice Palace. We don't get along very well.
It's a common one, though, for a lot of runners to have a distaste for.
Mm-hmm. Now, I like this. Going back that way. Nice. Oh, yeah. Because he already did that other half, you can also hookshot back over to the left side to go back upstairs if you have a small key. Yeah, that's the thing about Ice Palace, doing 100% Ice Palace. The routing is it's very strange, and there's very different ways to do it. Sometimes people fall down some holes up the top to go into the ice room with the paint. It's also really hard to explain each room. Room 1, you guys know what I'm talking about, right? Room 2, yeah, the one with the thing, right? Right,
There's usually a couple of doors. So Cold Stare normally requires the fire rod in an NMG route, and not having half magic means that every shot must count. Fortunately, having half magic and Bombos, Final Form, as well as Kanzeon once he gets there, very easily able to break that ice shield. Unfortunately, Cold Stare's 3 eyes got away from him before he could get that spin attack, but he cleaned it up
a bit too early.
Very nicely.
And his troubles were rewarded with another red rupee. How unhype. But that's another crystal. That's another crystal to get into Ganon. So that's good. But now comes the next question. What to do next? Pod? Lampless?
I would think before Pod, he should take a look at his crystal numbers. I believe he has 5 and 6. And with Aghanim dead, that'll make the big bomb much easier to take up to the pyramid. But we're going back to Kakariko.
Maybe now that he has... I don't think IsntEvenMyFinalForm has done Skull Woods yet, so it looks like that's where they might be heading.
Could be. Or perhaps a revisit to Thieves' Town to check the big chest.
Big chest, yes. That could be it.
That would be something I would want to do to get it out of my mind just while I'm still thinking of it. But Skull Woods it is. Fairly quick dungeon. Only 2 unique items within it, unfortunately.
But it's very easy to... It's a very quick dungeon. You get everything. Because you don't actually need the big key to actually finish the dungeon. But of course, you get the big key to check all the items. Most of the time. Let's see if he actually goes north instead of going east at this point.
That would be interesting. We didn't see that before. It's one of 2 dungeons that the boss actually can drop the big key.
That is very true. And also very frustrating. I'm looking at you, Argus. Mothula is not that bad if he drops big key, but Argus? No bueno. Okay, good. By going through that door instead of going down the bottom portion into the locked room, it does save a lot of... Well, not a lot of time, but enough time.
It's something that people will still go through. And the chest that's in that room will always have a small key. Just because the logic of the randomizer prevents you from ever getting locked out. So if you spend that key to get into that room, only to gain a key, you break even, and it just wastes a little bit of time going through such a big room.
And it also gives you there's the fear of getting grabbed by the Ceiling Master or Wall Master, or whatever their name is. And nobody likes to see that. Also, I want to point out that we did finally find the second green rupee. I know everybody in chat was wondering where that second one was. So now we don't have to worry about finding that one again. Very good. And I don't actually remember seeing if we got any items in Skull Woods or not. Looks like Kanzeon might be going to check Bumper Cave at this point.
Certainly a good move. Having that cape, having it fresh in the mind, very excellent. I'm gonna go up and take a look. More often than not, it isn't required. In this case, it's no different. It's 20 rupee. There's only a couple of items that are required left at this point, or at least immensely helpful. The Ether Medallion being the one that we're mainly looking for. Because Dark Foundation, while possible, I don't think either of our runners would want to take a dab at that.
I would love to see one of these runners at least attempt it if it gets down to that point where it's like, well, I need to try. I need to gamble and see if I can find it in like Palace of Darkness or something like that. It's always nice seeing a racer kind of go a little out of their comfort zone to check or to do something for the sake of saving time. And it's always fun to see.
Being in a race, not having a clue where your opponent is either, it makes it that much more of a gamble. Do you really want to take the time, even though you may not need it?
That is also a good point. It makes it very interesting for competitions, because normally... Oh wait, that's Quake. We don't want that. Normally, a lot of times in competitions, you see the two players can see each other's screen or they're playing on the same screen, but in this one, you are completely in the dark. And so you have to kind of make those gambles just on a whim. And oftentimes it comes down to like, well, it's past the 2-hour mark. Someone should be finishing at this point. I'm going to go big and just beeline it to T-Rock or do right side Ganon Tower and just hope that I pick the right choice.
Yeah, you never know when you might find an Ice Rod in Turtle Rock.
You never know. You never know. So it looks like, is Kanzeon going to be taking a trip back into Thieves? It looks like it. So. Oh, finally. I'm hoping for that Ether.
Possible it was in the back of his mind this whole time, knowing he had the hammer, other spots to check first. But I'm pleased to see that at least one of our runners does remember to do it.
It's always nice.
And at this point, it'll probably be a single arrow, but great to check nonetheless.
Now I'm 50-50. I want Ether or the single arrow. Yeah, you hate to see a run or a race end because of just simply not remembering to check a dungeon item or a big chest or something in a previous dungeon. This would be still an interesting if it is an item, just because we've already found 2 items in this dungeon. If so, color me surprised. But I got my fingers crossed. It looks like some people in chat are wanting it to be the net. I mean, you know, safety fairies, always nice to have. As well as using the net against Agatu, always very stylish.
Well, we know it's not the Cane of Burna, because we did see that earlier and noped right out of the location for it. It was not necessary.
Especially now that Kanzeon has the cape, which was at the Bombos tablet. We'll see if IsntEvenMyFinalForm ends up heading there at all. Oh, here it is. Moment of truth. It is.
Did he just mirror before opening that?
Did he? Oh my gosh.
Oh no. What a miscue on the buttons.
Oh.
That may be one of the more unfortunate moves that I've seen. It's fairly quick to get back to, but you never want that to happen.
Oh, that hurts. And
fast fingers. Oh no.
I can say that from experience because I did a 9-way race last night where I was trying to bomb the floor up at the top of blinds, but seeing as the mirror and the bomb are similar colors, I had accidentally selected the mirror and mirrored out. Still got second.
Nothing against you, Willard, but I believe that this one might take the cake on your story, though.
I mean,
that is unfortunate.
In a tourney race setting, yes, definitely. This is not something you want to do.
Oh, man. But we see, by the time we're talking about it, he's already more than halfway back there. It is a dungeon to go through when you're not stopping for anything.
That room right there is hard to do. I'm surprised having the half magic that they didn't decide to use the cape to get through that spike room with the moving platform or the moving floors.
We see that from time to time. Chat's a little bit conflicted now. Some of them definitely want it to be 1 arrow now, and some of them definitely want it to be worth it.
Oh, we got a civil war going on. Let's go. If it's a single arrow, it's going to be even more painful because
maybe leave the hammer out this time. There we go. It's a heart container.
Oh, that's
so not bad.
It's bad,
but
it's really bad.
Yeah,
it's pretty bad.
I mean, it makes us one closer to 20, though.
Yeah, maybe we could still possibly get that. All right, let's see. IsntEvenMyFinalForm is. It looks like they're gonna go ahead and take a peek. They don't have the cape, but they're going to go see what is at Bumper Cave.
Meanwhile, Kanzeon finding another use of that hammer that we acquired so late. Checking the posts right in. Why can't I think of what this is called? The
Peg?
post
Peg
cave.
room.
Sure, peg room. Yeah, that was
Peggy Hill. Peggy
that
Hill
was
room.
the deal. I'm glad you knew what I was talking about.
No, I got you. Can we get a round of applause for DT? He just came from commentating another race to just drop in and keep me company. No. Nah, man, it's been fun listening to the races. The commentators, the production value, the racers, all this has been amazing. This is what, day 4, I think?
It started Monday late afternoon, I believe, was the first race.
This has been a fantastic showing, and we've seen such an influx in people that are interested in Randomizer, and I can assure you that there's definitely going to be another Randomizer tournament in the near future. But we'll see. We'll see what changes they make. I know the developers are always working on new stuff, new ideas. So you guys always make sure to follow everybody. Stay tuned, ask questions, do the usual. So let's see what Kanzeon's got up his sleeve. Interesting.
I believe there were 2 items in Hera that were never checked.
The big chest.
The big chest and downstairs. So it's possible that that's where we're heading, or it could be the Spike Cave.
That is also true. If it is checking the big chest, how interesting that they are going to Spike Burn Cave.
Oh, there he goes. Turn around, grab that fairy.
Yeah, get that fairy before it's good.
No, it went away, but then he got another one.
What are the odds of that? Wow, incredible.
Fantastic. Yeah, healing before coming in here is always a good idea. That was a free heal, so would have been silly to not take it.
It looks like we're going to find out what is in Fat Fairy, Big Fairy, Large Marge. That's her new name. Let's see what items he has. And it looks like, oh yeah, Agatu defeated, so you can mirror, walk through the little overpass, and head right up to where Large Marge is. I missed it. What was in Burn a Cave? Anything useful? 20 rupee?
I believe it was only a 20 rupee.
Ah, man. How many 20 rupees are in this game?
That I don't know, I'm afraid.
Because there has been a lot of them. Alright, let's hear it. Moment of truth.
Another 20 rupee? And the red
fire
shield.
shield. Oh, I mean, a shield is nice, but not that nice. So we are getting a bit of a trophy seed, and it really is just coming down to the players not willing to do lampless, which is 100% understandable. It is not fun. I could say from experience. But let's see what... Is Kanzeon going to be taking a step inside the Pendant Dungeon Swamp Palace? That might be a good choice. It's a big gamble.
It is a gamble. It's not a bad move, though, I would say. Again, looking for that lamp.
And sometimes
I spend my time going out of my way looking for it as well. I can relate to what must be going through these runners' minds at the moment.
It almost makes me wonder if some of these runners in their next races are going to practice lampless for the future.
Sure, it's certainly not
always a good skill to have. Yeah. Now, for everyone unsure, Swamp Palace has 10 chests. 6 of those are items, potential items, and then 1 key. So oftentimes this first bombable wall chest is usually something pretty good, and I'll find myself, if this is a pendant dungeon, popping in here, checking this first chest, and then bailing. So let's see what Kanzeon is going to do. It is a red rupee. Oh, that hurts. It looks like IsntEvenMyFinalForm is going to go check Bombo's tablet to get that cape, which might be useful in the future, but not entirely useful. I'm interested to see what's in Swamp. I'm kind of hoping that lamp is in here. Alright.
This seed was not Aghanim forced, I don't believe. I'm trying to remember that. I see that question in the chat.
I believe
the pyramid
it
only
was,
yielded
Titan's head was on the pyramid.
Was it?
Yeah.
Then
So
I
the
am
only way
getting
they-
my own. I am getting my own commentary blurred between seeds, just like a runner should. I was thinking it was the magic powder, but I guess that was the previous one. My apologies.
That is correct. Magic Powder was in the one that you were commentating. I can say that.
So then, yes.
I do recall. Yeah, because Magic Powder was next to Blind for this one.
Yes, that's right. Hagen Enforced is always an interesting way to go, especially when the Lumberjack tree item is not required.
Honestly, I think at a certain point, I think the racers need to decide maybe that they should start doing Aga a little bit early, especially with the early Butter Sword. Aga Tower is super easy. You can just slice your way through all the enemies in there. Because it does open up a lot of opportunities if you, say, have the flippers or the hook shot, or the mirror. And oftentimes we have found useful items such as this race, where the pyramid item was something very useful. Oh, interesting. Isn't Even My Final Form is taking a look inside Hera. I'm curious to see what is in that big chest. Are we going to get Ether? Are we going to get the lamp? I'm going to actually pay attention and count items to make sure that big chest actually has something. Hera has 2 items. We already found 1, so there's 1 more item in this dungeon.
Well, what was immediately in the basement? Was that a small
heart
key?
container?
That was a heart container? So
Yeah.
a heart container, big key, yeah.
My bet is that big chest has a small key, so they have to go down and do the tile room in the basement. Yo, DT. Dude, you're rocking it, buddy. Keep doing your thing.
I appreciate the support from everybody. The few races that I've commentated have been quite enjoyable. Chat interaction's been fantastic. I've had amazing, phenomenal partners every time. It's a little tough to keep up with everything that's going on, especially doing them back to back, but thanks for bearing with it, you guys.
And also, it is... Oh, wait, hold on. Big chest. Yep, I was correct. Small key. That means he's going to have to go down to the basement. Oh, he's
Saving
electing
and
to
quitting.
save and quit.
Not a good
that's
move.
That is not... Interesting choice.
Especially because Final Form still needed to do Muldorm to even rule out the fact that something might have existed.
Yeah. Huh. Well, that might come back, because both players need to go back to, potentially might have to go back to Hera, so we could see an interesting race by these choices. Yeah, guys, it is also always recommended, if you ever play a randomizer, to not... I mean, you could try and do back-to-back randomizers, but it's so hard to do that in a race setting as well, because, like, it's so easy to mix them up. So I'd also say the same thing is true with the commentating 2 races back-to-back, because you're watching 4 screens, where the player's doing something different on each screen most of the time. It's really easy to get mixed up. So shout-outs to the commentators have been amazing. OK Guy, especially, who I've seen has been commentating on a lot of these, as well as DT, Alucard, and then a bunch of others. And also shout-out to you guys for letting me jump on the mic. This is my first time commentating anything ever, and I hope I'm doing an okay job.
I think you're doing fantastic, if it's any consolation.
Oh, stop.
And I do have to apologize yet again to chat for correcting me once more. It seems that between a heart container and a heart piece, Hera was indeed tapped out. And that was a major oversight on my part. I am not keeping up with this as well as I should be.
Oh, there was a heart piece in Hera?
That is what the consensus yields.
How did I miss that twice? Whoops. Well, never mind. Disregard everything, guys. Just ignore us. I am curious, though. Swamp Palace. I saw 3 heart pieces, and then they left before getting fighting Argus, which, assuming they were counting, might have been a good choice. But interesting enough, since Isn't Even My Final Form hasn't done Swamp, I might have given him some time to catch up. And when I say that, I then look at the crystals and see that Isn't Even My Final Form is actually in the lead. But here we got an interesting... Kanzeon is going into pod without the lamp, so we'll see how this goes.
And a 1-cycle Landmo. 3 of
And a
those
little
silver arrows take him out immediately.
A little celebration dash. Too bad it was another red rupee. Oh, that's harsh. For anyone wondering, Swamp Palace is the 3rd pendant dungeon. So that is also why Kanzeon decided not to finish it.
Yeah, knowing that he'd already... Oh, finds Ether. There's one of the required items. Knowing that the Master Sword pedestal was merely couch cash, definitely a good move to bail out of Swamp Palace. The thing I'm curious about, and I see a couple people in chat have been as well, has he turned in the green pendant yet?
I don't believe so. Did he actually get the green pendant after Moldorm? Yeah, or did he save and quit? No, he did. I don't... Actually, no.
That may have been after Blind.
I don't recall him checking Sahasrara, so let's hope he actually remembers to do that. So, Beeline out of pod because he's still not really secure with, I'm assuming, with doing Lampless. It looks like he's heading to go do... What is he up to? Kanzeon, what are you doing? Moldorm was blue? No. No, Landmolo was blue. Desert Palace was blue. Hera was green. Chat, why are you confusing me? Okay, good. Go into Turtle Rock, which is a very interesting choice because oftentimes runners will save Turtle Rock for the very last because then they can go straight over to Ganon without having to go through all of Death Mountain a second time.
And there's a good number of chests that you can take a look at too, including the Mimic's Cave outside before getting to any of the dark portions. So it's not an ideal move, but it's not a bad one at this point. Mm-hmm. There aren't too many locations left to take a look.
Correct. There are 5 potential items in T-Rock, plus the Mimic Room makes 6. So that's not a very bad idea. Though at the same time, Palace of Darkness still had 5 more items that he could have grabbed. So I love seeing this difference of routing. Because you don't normally see T-Rock this early.
No, certainly. They've been apart from each other for quite some time. High-fiving at one point in a dungeon or two, but other than that, definitely going their own distinct ways.
And it looks like, unfortunately, Final Form is going to be going through much of Swamp Palace, though don't recall Swamp Palace actually having anything useful, which is hard to watch, but we'll see how much of it he does before he backs out. All right, let's see what we got in Compass Room. Big key. That's very nice to get early, if you were boss rushing this dungeon. Fortunately, that is not what they're doing. So they're going to be checking every single chest. Basically, the last item... Oh, actually, now that I think about it, they have the ability to beat... They have everything they need to win, but they're not doing it because they want the lamp.
Sure.
Oh, actually, hold on. Does Kanzeon have a bow? Or is that just not updated? He still has not
Kanzeon
checked.
does not have the bow.
Oh my gosh, okay, that is very unfortunate. I hope that they eventually check that, because I know that they've been to that area. I mean, they checked Bombos, they checked the cave south of Dig Site, so I hope it's not just like a memory error. Ooh.
Turtle Rock holding quite the riches, although not anything as valuable as our lamp. Not yet, anyway. We've got a little bit more we can go through. Hopefully he remembers to check the Mimic's Cave, too.
Mm-hmm. I know it's not applicable, but I have seen Ice Rod there. We're still kind of on the lookout for the lamp. Be interesting to see lamp in there. Yeah, because you would not have to do the dark room in Turtle Rock before going to the Mimic Room. Ooh, having a little trouble with the Pokey. Those guys can be a little dangerous. That's why oftentimes players will use the Fire Rod, as it is a single hit, quick kill on them. Decent change-up room. I have been gifted the Golden Kappa? Hold on, I gotta try this.
I would be curious to know. I haven't caught enough of a glimpse of the map to know where the red pendant is. And I wonder if maybe would that have been Swamp?
Yeah,
Or
Red
was
Pendant
Swamp
was
a
at
crystal?
Swamp.
Okay.
That is correct. That was the
Without
only Dark
counting-
World dungeon.
I do wonder. I'll pay very close attention to Final Form's menu. We'll see if we can collect the map and the compass, and if not, maybe take a little bit more of a breather, knowing that we don't need to check Argus himself.
I do believe one of these was a heart piece. I remember seeing 3 heart pieces in this dungeon. Oh, and a bomb upgrade. Okay. Chat's having fun. There's the second heart piece. I love it. Now, I don't remember if they got big key or not yet. I believe Argus might be holding on to that big key. But
That
if
could be
it
a
works,
possibility.
yeah. But if it works out that the only items they have left to get are compass or map, then you wouldn't have to backtrack or redo the
No, not
go
at
through
all.
the beginning again to check it again, because it'll hold nothing useful.
Now, there's 3 chests left that Final Form's going to be able to take a look in, and that'll tell us our answer.
Here we go. This has some potential. Though without the bow, it's going to be a little annoying. I'm curious, what other
works.
medallions can you use against these guys? Can you kill them with Ether or any of the other ones? I mean, this seems to be working just fine. Though electing to use the beams for some reason.
The green mimics seem to take damage from a lot of things, so it stands to reason at least one of... Oh, there's the lamp.
Oh, wow.
What an amazing gamble.
That is actually insane. What are the odds of that? Wow, of that being there.
Only, someone had asked earlier, what item would you have at a location that would make it the worst location? And that might be it.
That is pretty bad.
Fortunately, having it right there, that means that he can stick around and finish Turtle Rock all at once. The only problem he's going to have later on is finding the bow.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he's in go mode. We just need that bow.
I'm so interested to see if Final Form is going to make the same judgment call. It's so out of the normal to go to T-Rock that early, and it's so crazy that it paid off. Interesting. If Kanzeon ends up finding the bow and taking this, I'm curious to see if the other racer is going to consider learning Lampless, if that seems to be the cause of them.
Well, the curious point right now is that Final Form's looking for the lamp, while having 3 crystal dungeons remaining that require it. So he literally is on the search for the lamp and nothing more at this point. On a desperate attempt, he's going to go to Pod, it seems.
Gonna grab that Ether, which is going to be nice.
That is
Be
true.
interesting
Ether's
to
gonna be
see if they
phenomenal.
stick around and finish Pod.
Hey, he may try it at this point on a whim. We see Kanzeon doing a mirror shieldless strategy to get away from these lasers, and doing it beautifully, I must say.
It's very nice. Though I would still, in this situation, elect to just use the cape. Having that half magic is always nice, but it is also nice seeing someone using those dash abilities to skip right past the lasers. Very nice.
Yeah,
very good to see.
Very well executed.
And there we have the bug net. If only we still had some golden bees. Oh,
nice
that's
use of the Can of Samaria too.
That
Beautiful.
is nice. Oftentimes you'll see players do an item dash with that to speed that section along, but I never really realized that you can just walk it out. You can do some of them fancy walking. Interesting. Oh, and it looks like Final Form is gonna go ahead and go through Pod. Probably hoping to find the lamp. Curious to see if they're gonna try lampless.
I don't think it's a bad move at this point to at least go through the rest. There's a lot that's accessible without being in the dark.
I just want to see that hammer jump. So hopefully we get an early big key.
That would be nice.
That would be nice. House Darkness is Crystal. I believe it is Crystal 7. So that's
Yes.
Trinex for you. A very nice Trinex fight.
One of the most
It's made a
beautiful.
lot easier when you have the Butter Sword, but still, nonetheless.
Only 10 arrows. He's got to find that bow now.
Yeah, moment of truth.
Although Misery Mire is fully accessible, and that could very well be his next stop.
That is true. Though I would say it is nice to have the bow against Vitreous.
Without
But
any
Butter
doubt.
Sword also definitely makes that fight pretty easy.
Especially with
That-
silver arrows.
Mm-hmm. But like Butter Sword plus Cape, or just eating the damage and just doing the whole eat damage and then do spin attacks to do damage on a bunch of the little eyes at the same time are also possible strats. We'll see which one he does. So yeah, Kanzeon with the huge lead at this point. All they have left to do is Meyer and Pod, I believe. So we should have 5 crystals. Yeah, finding that lamp is going to be a big... It's going to be a game changer. It's going to be a big one.
Oh, we have a bonk up there. Interesting to see what happens with the staircase now.
Pick up the bird. Yes, he picked up
Nothing.
the bird.
There are times with
so glad he
the
did that.
not Meyer, Palace of Darkness staircase. If you bonk against that top wall as you're dashing up, approaching the big key staircase, you might get stuck toward the top of the staircase, and anytime you move, you will automatically go back down.
Oh yeah, I've seen that in the right side stairs of the Swamp Palace, which normally don't go down, but I do know that Owen's a little glitchy.
Swamp Palace is a pretty common spot for it when you're heading back up to check the big chest.
Now, I do want to state that despite the fact that Kanzeon does have a huge lead in crystals and also finishing up this dungeon, it also depends on if IsntMyFinalForm is going to complete the dungeon without the lamp. Though Kanzeon not having the bow is not... That's also probably why they didn't finish Pod, now that I think about it, because they couldn't. So
we have a big key in an accessible spot. Let's see if FinalForm knows about the torches that are in this area. Otherwise, this portion is not too difficult to navigate, and it seems he's going to go straight for it.
Now, unfortunately, we won't really get to see what he gets if he gets like a good... Okay,
Picks
there's
up a small key, for one thing.
Some items will not show up in the dark.
No, they won't.
So he might have to pause to take a look, see what he has.
And I believe he got it, although we couldn't see it.
We already know what it isn't, so...
That is true.
He's gonna take a look. It looks like it was the dungeon map, maybe? Maybe... The bow is in the guy that gives you the shovel. That turns into a tree.
We have a slight panic dance.
Yeah, it doesn't look like he is...
off the bottom.
The panic is real. Oh, I'm there with him. Right. Oh, that hurts.
We all know what this feels like, there's no doubt.
I want to see him do the bomb jump, because I think I've seen him do it in one of his... Oh, he's going back downstairs?
I don't know if he realizes there is another room right below that vanilla compass chest.
Mm-hmm.
Take a look there real quick as a last resort. There we go.
Oh, interesting. Kanzeon... Oh, I think he messed up and missed one of the blocks, so that's why he's using...
Unfortunately, it only yields another small key. Hammer jump withstanding, he could check the big chest, and that may be it. We'll see how his dark navigation skills feel. Perhaps in an act of desperation, he wants to give it a shot.
I mean, he needs to know that lamp is not going to be in either of those items, because it can't possibly be there. So he might just go ahead and finish the dungeon.
That's true.
Looks like he's going for bomb jump.
It's all designed to be completed without glitches or without unnecessary items. Mm-hmm. So the lamp has to be somewhere that doesn't require, or more or less require it to get to. And we're just going to throw that bomb away and take a plunge.
I've been there. You do 30 pauses and still miss it, and you're like, oh, come on. Also, we need to remember that I don't recall if FinalForm actually saw where the ice rod was on the floating island in East Death Mountain.
I don't know that he ever did. I believe he was up there in the Dark World. And
one pixel
began to
too
go
high.
into the cave.
And he's... Oh, you hate to see that.
Yeah.
I hope he's not...
Very unfortunate. We hope he's not kicking himself too hard for this. There's still other locations to go. He doesn't know that he's still got a huge advantage by Kanzeon not having the bow.
Mm-hmm.
But at an hour and 40 minutes, you don't necessarily stop and think about those things.
Right. Very interesting. Looks like he's gonna go into Meyer in hopes that he finds the lamp there. In my opinion, of the 3 dark sections in the 3 dungeons, the Meyer is probably the one I like the least. That first room, when you have to go down, open up a block, and then drop a Cane of Samaria block on top of the switch, is very frustrating when you have those Medusa heads. I believe that's what they're called, shooting fireballs at you constantly. There are some easy setups to do. The one I usually try and do is after I move the block, I walk down, I try and find the door to the exit, pick up a block, and toss it straight up. Oftentimes that works, but it's so easy to get off by a couple pixels. So
You know, out of the three, I've successfully pulled off Palace of Darkness and Misery Mire. Turtle Rock, I hear, is actually fairly simple once you understand how it works.
Yep.
But it is by far the most intimidating and not something that I would want to give a shot to. So I can't blame Final Form for checking these other two dungeons first, at least. It might be in the back of his mind that Turtle Rock might need to be a chance he takes, but certainly doesn't want to make it right now. As someone in chat is pointing out, though, I would have to agree. I don't believe that Final Form ever went back to Thieves Town to check the big chest there. Certainly another possibility that could have been.
I believe Kanzeon did, and it was that heart container.
Right.
So
we know
hopefully
what
he
it was.
doesn't waste his time checking that. But of course, the runner does not know that. And when you're in desperation, you might just go ahead and check that. But we'll see what he does. Interested to see if he's going to keep going with Mire without the lamp. It's unfortunate that a race comes down to knowing the lamp glitch, or not the lamp glitch, but knowing lampless, and just choice gambles of going to T-Rock early. It'd be interesting to see how this race would have played. I'm saying it as if it's over. It's not over. I'm interested to see how this race could have been going had both of them been comfortable doing in the dark. So.
Well, we can always be curious. Unfortunately, it's not an answer we're going to have this time. The thing that, on the note of gambles, again, not to call it, it's far from over. Both runners are missing a very key item at this point. I would have to think, though, that if Kanzeon finds his key item first, he's going to have the definitive advantage, being able to head to the Palace of Darkness and then mirror straight to the Eastern Palace.
Interesting to see what he's going to do next. Because that's one of those places that it would be super easy to remember incorrectly and think you've already checked it.
Absolutely.
Because it's one of those items that are kind of in a sequence of items. Like, all right, well, I got the purple chest, so I'll go down, I'll check the Light World Cave, and then I'll check Shovel Guy, and then I'll go down and do a Bottle Vendor.
Yeah, it's super easy to forget it, though. Mental notes have to be a thing. You get that item, you realize, yeah, it's possible to get it now. It's easy enough to get later, and then later comes, and you may not remember.
And you see it. You see the struggle right now.
Kanzeon's confused.
Like I was saying earlier.
Not sure which warp to go to. Even does a little dance after he lands. But he's going to head up and apparently head through Dark Kakariko again. We'll see what he has planned shortly.
Let's see if he remembers. And Final Form still working their way through Mire. Still hoping for that lamp. I personally, in a race once, found lamp in Mire. It was a lifesaver because I was not comfortable doing anything in the dark. I'm still not 100% comfortable. I would much rather do T-Rock in the dark than Mire or Pod.
I have to be honest, had this been a seed I was playing, there's a very good chance that I would have rather tried Mire and Pod in the dark before even considering going to check the Turtle Rock area.
True. I mean, still for routing purposes, I would have saved T-Rock for last. Just because of that quick step right on over to G-Tower is always really nice to do. Interesting. It looks like Kanzeon is finally going to check that big chest.
Another location that...
he was checking. He wasn't sure. Oh my gosh. This hurts to watch.
It's another location that would have been very easy to forget to go back to. So where's he heading now?
Let's see.
He's in the immediate...
Done everything. He's pretty much checked everything except that one spot, if I recall correctly.
Those gears are certainly turning something fierce right now.
This hurts. It hurts for him. Like I feel that pain because I've been there. I've been there so many times. And it makes you think like, man, should I be like sitting down and tracking everything I've checked? Or like, should I be writing stuff down, taking notes during a race, knowing that I'm going to lose time by like writing stuff? Or do I rely entirely on my memory skills and ability to do it?
Hey, that's
here
a
we
super
go.
difficult thing to balance.
All Final Form is going to go for it. This could be big if he can manage to pull it off.
I don't have any of his game audio, unfortunately, so I cannot hear whether or not he's got that block on the Switch.
That is also true. Which is unfortunate, because this game has really good music.
But what's fantastic is that he's not taking any damage. Oh, one heart.
That is actually some impressive movement. It's so easy to just sit there and take damage over and over and over and over again. Fortunately, when it comes to Randomizer, there are tons of resources out there amongst the community of different resources that you can use to kind of keep track of everything, aside from just the item checklists, which are always amazing to have. So anyone that's, especially people that are new to Randomizer, it's always good to start with, because you might not know where all the items are. I sure didn't when I first started.
I'm curious to see what Kanzeon is doing back in the Eastern Palace, where he's already checked everything.
Yeah.
Everything accessible, at least.
Maybe he thinks he forgot a chest. He already beat Armos.
Into the next room.
Oh, nice.
Wonderful. That first room is the most difficult in the dark. Don't save and quit. Oh, you're so close.
Okay, into the next room. This room's pretty easy. You just gotta avoid the little spike that's bouncing around. He's only this room and one more room, and then he can keep going. And that would mean, that would be pretty big. I just really wish he didn't bail on Palace of Darkness. We could definitely have a different race at this point.
No,
not like this. Not like this.
Oh, man.
You think he's going to go to T-Rock now?
I think he has to. He's going to consider it for a bit and then figure that that might be his only other option. You know, that final room with those tiny passages and the spike, if you were able to get through those passages, you head north a little bit, that switch crystal is still colored and lit up. So it's a great frame of reference. Certainly he got through the most difficult portions of it. Mm-hmm. A very solid attempt. Can't blame him for it, but would have liked to see him finish it off.
I would also recommend looking up resources that include the maps of those rooms. It definitely helps out a lot learning the route, because obviously you can't really learn it when it's completely pitch black. I know when I did my race, I had those on standby in case I needed them. And fortunately, I got Lamp very early, and so I didn't have to end up doing that. But it looks like he's beelining it over to T-Rock. And here's the thing, guys. Kanzeon it's obvious he has no idea where the bow is, as he's heading into Skull Woods again. You never want to see this back and forth running around. Oh, he's going into Hera.
He's going to head to Hera first, get the green pendant, and go visit Sahasrahla.
You know, that's not a bad idea.
It's really not. Honestly, with as quick of a dungeon as Hera is, he's not even sure if he wants to go upstairs first or downstairs. Hera's a very quick dungeon to at least get through and beat Maldorm. And knowing that it's a green pendant, I may have gone for it
early
toward the beginning. I feel like a lot of runners may have.
Mm-hmm. It is interesting to see him electing to do this instead of going to T-Rock, a crystal dungeon that he needs to beat, whilst T-Rock has plenty of items and plenty of options. I guess he just doesn't want to throw off his route, or he doesn't feel comfortable doing that part in the dark. But seeing as he's checked both Pod and Meyer, like it's either this or T-Rock, and he's electing to do this. He's electing a lot of things, guys. I keep using that term. Oh no, sitting on the ocarina screen. Oh, Kanzeon, you got this. Just think.
Curious to see where he's going now, though. He's already taken care of Meyer.
Mm-hmm.
I believe he's taking care of everything in the immediate area of it, too. Yeah, he's going to save and quit, and then head somewhere else.
Switching to his cape for some reason? Okay.
One of the runners never checked the Bumper Cave, although I'm not sure which one.
They both checked it. Final Form didn't actually get it because it was Well, yeah, they both checked it, but Final Form didn't have the cape when he checked it, but it was fortunate that it was just a red ruby. I'm curious if Kanzeon... Did Kanzeon do Fat Fairy yet?
Kanzeon cannot do the Fat Fairy. Eastern Palace is crystal number 6, and he does not have a bow.
I forgot, he hasn't done... Oh my gosh, he hasn't done Eastern. Guys, we got a race. Okay. Where is he off to now?
He's going to go and turn in the Final Form, not Final Four. He's going to go and turn in the green pendant to Sahasrara. We'll see what he has.
Double checking some spots.
Never a bad thing.
Final Form is... Oh, here we go. Let's see what our boy has. Oh,
just an arrow upgrade.
Arrow upgrade. Some frustration. It's not his fault. Don't take it out in Sahasrara. He's just a cowboy. All right.
Kanzeon's super close to the bow spot right now, turning back around. Fortunately, not going to go.
He was just in the dark world. Oh, he's flying away.
He's flying away.
Where's he going?
High-fiving on the flute screen, but unfortunately that's not going to help.
He might have just remembered. I think this might be it, guys. Hold your breath. And I think Final Form might be finally heading over to T-Rock, saying, well, this is all I got left. I might as well do it. Oh, a moment of truth. I definitely think he's realized.
This will be interesting to see, unless he's going to go and check the Burna Cave now. You never know. No, that appears he is going
back to Hera. Moment of truth. Go up. He's going up. Guys, we got it. We got the bow. Oh my gosh.
Oh wow, he's got to have such a sigh of relief at this point.
Oh man, yeah. Especially we're closing in on the 2-hour mark, and there's still no dot done. So
what's the first thing that you feel at this point when you get the bow? Do you think, great, I finally have it, or do you think, crap, my opponent already got it like an hour ago?
Mm-hmm. I would think Kanzeon's thinking that Final Form is probably on the brink of getting his last crystal and heading into the G Tower. So
we have a bit of a race right now, although I think Kanzeon has the edge, having the 1-2 punch of Palace of Darkness and Eastern Palace right on top of each other. Definitely. Although Final Form is certainly going to be on his heels, going to get the lamp, as we know at this point.
Assuming he knows Mimic Cave. We can only hope.
Oh yes, that's another point.
But yeah, basically,
that may elude some runners.
Kanzeon's got the go button, so he can just boss rush the next 2 dungeons, and especially since he's already checked everything in Eastern, he's only gotten the first item in Pod, which was Ether, so he'll have to do a lot of Pod, which isn't too bad. Pod's pretty straightforward.
Hopefully a bit less, since we're on big key and go mode.
Does Kanzeon already have the big key?
I don't know, but he's not going to need to spend any time checking all these extra chests. He needs the big key and 1 small key, and he can effectively head down to the Helmetsor King.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it looks like he remembered to grab the Ice Rod, which was the last item that he needed to actually complete the game. So that's good. That's good memory.
And as you had said, not too far out of the way having it right there.
Mm-mm. That's actually a really nice spot for it. I would have preferred it be there. It would have saved me a heart attack.
Oh, that's interesting. Why was one of the green mimics way in the corner?
It's a very interesting spawn. I've never seen that before. Huh.
Things that we see in Randomizer. I've seen a lot of things for the first time in this.
It's that Japanese 1.0 version. So as we know, the big key is in the first room on the right past the bridge, the falling bridge. And then all you need is the big key and a small key to finish out the rest of Pod. So, but it looks like he's going to follow his normal route and check all the dungeon items. Though I'm surprised he's mirroring instead of just dropping down, because you can actually smack that peg, drop down, head to the left, or hit the switch, head to the left, and then you could bonk back onto that bridge and grab the small key.
That was a nice list of things to do.
Yeah, I hope you guys are following that. I hope you're writing this down. I'm going to test you later.
There's going to be a quiz later with algebra as well mixed into the problem.
All right, here's the big reveal. Where he's going to grab that big key and be... Oh, that was pretty close. He's just about... He's going for that second pot so he can take out the mini Helmetsor and almost lost his footing.
It has the big key. Instead of mirroring, I wonder. Nope, he is going to mirror.
That's a good idea. Even though there was a small key right down in that room,
it's not a guarantee.
Overall,
so
yeah, exactly.
Good move to just mirror right away and get back there.
All right, let's see. Looks like Final Form is heading into the next rooms, still looking for that lamp. I'm so curious to hear what both the players say when they find that lamp. Hopefully, when we get to do the post-game interview, I really want to hear them.
Certainly going to be one of the first questions on our minds, as well as many of the viewers, I would imagine.
What were you? Where were you?
That and Kanzeon finding the bow so late. Very interested in picking their brains on that, seeing what their thought processes were the whole time.
Yeah, late bow is like it's tough because that's such a required item. Of course, you wanted that right at the beginning, especially depending on the dungeons.
Of course,
so
but
like
you never want to have to do. I'm sorry. No, you
so
first.
Like, imagine if one more time. So imagine if like Pod and Eastern were pendant dungeons. Then you potentially wouldn't need the bow right away until G Tower, but they also limit your ability to check items in those dungeons, so very interesting. Alright. Final Form is definitely making their way through. Oh, is that what he wasn't selling shovels or giving away shovels, he was giving away bagels? I need to go visit him. I could use one right now. DT, what is your favorite bagel? This is important. I'm going to write this down as well.
I have to say, although it's not one that I'm commonly in the mood for, and it's very difficult to find, but there may be nothing better than a fresh toasted chocolate chip bagel.
Ooh, interesting. Going for the sweet as opposed to the savory.
You get the nice melty chocolate. It's fantastic.
Speaking of melty chocolate, sweet and savory, this Helmasaur fight is perfect. I don't believe he took any damage, and those 17 hits with the hammer plus 2 slashes with the butter sword made that boss super free. And it looks like Final Form is just about to check the Mimic room.
Beautiful.
Okay, good. I thought he was a little too far to the left, that he might have gone back or failed the warp.
It was certainly close. This room possibly a little bit easier for Final Form having the bow, although Kanzeon made pretty nice work of it.
Yeah, the whole grabbing onto the railing and like pushing the other way to bring them forward is very nice, very quick.
And he has the lamp. I wonder what's on his mind now.
Oh,
Very angry at that chest. I can't blame him. Swinging a stick of butter at anything, though, may not do much.
Smacking it with a hammer.
It's the thought behind it that counts at this point. So, approaching the 2-hour mark, just to summarize quickly, we've had a very close race for most of this, even with the crystal count slowly going further and further away. Both runners were looking for one elusive item that they each required. Kanzeon, of course, with the bow. Final Form looking for the lamp that he just found. And it was anyone's guess as to who would find which one first. And whoever did, in this case, had the clear advantage, especially with the remaining dungeons being right on top of each other.
And I can almost guarantee that the next time these players race, if lampless is required, I'm going to be seeing them doing them dark dungeons. Because it hurts to lose a game or lose a race. It's not over yet, but it hurts overall to lose a race, just not having that knowledge. And these racers have been amazing. They clearly show that they know how to do all the speedrun strats. They have very good extensive game knowledge from what I've seen. And so it just comes down to having that slight advantage of having lampless. Or maybe, who knows, maybe the next race they'll get lamp like super early and be safe from that pain.
Well, when you miss an item for so long, you usually remember it for the next time to make sure that you check it. But I can guarantee that even with the lamp being in its location, you're probably not going to go out of your way to check that early. So that doesn't quite apply in this case, even though for the most part it does. In other runs with other items, of course.
And yeah, it just goes to show that despite how much you might know about a game, it's still very, very easy to forget something, as we saw with Kanzeon forgetting the bow. Just forgetting to check that one location, and it oftentimes comes down to, as I said earlier, you have your own routine that you always follow, and the minute you break that, you go through this point where you're like, did I check that? No, I always check that when I normally do this, but did I check that? And
yeah, it's really tough to remember.
He was doing a lot of back and forths, so.
On a side note, I have to say, with Final Form going through that laser room and now finally downstairs against Trinex, both runners were exceptional in the laser room with avoiding it, not having the mirror shield.
Yeah, that was actually very good. I was impressed. Getting that dash in to avoid the first laser, and then walking out and like just hugging the edge ever so slightly so you don't fall off. It's very, very hard to pull off sometimes. Oftentimes, if they have the mirror shield, you'll see them charge their sword so that they hold their shield in a particular way to block it while they walk through. But that does end up wasting some time, so... Seems like the players are possibly going to high-five on their way through each other. Unfortunately, it's not going to be on their way to Ganon Tower at the same time. Also, interesting to see Kanzeon going the generally slower way to get up to Ganon's Tower. Oftentimes, people will go through the portal at T-Rock as opposed to going to the Dark World at the bottom of East Death Mountain. So, there it is. There's Trinex. So now, it's unfortunate because we might have had a different race had Final Form, for whatever reason, decided to do T-Rock before doing Myron, the rest of Pod. It also could have been different if he had gone ahead and finished Pod while he was there and finished Myra. Myra, he was so close. He was just a room and a half away from getting out of that darkness. So,
yeah. And those dark rooms, I'll say it again, that first one is the most difficult. The final one, in my opinion, super easy, honestly, because you know that the top middle wall is breakable. So you just have to throw a bomb there, head up, hit a switch that's plainly visible, and make your way down.
And there we have the mirror shield.
Mirror shield.
And a blue potion. Interesting. So where do you think it's going to be? Do you think it's going to be right side or left side?
I was just going to ask the chat how many chests they think that we'll get to. I'm going to put my money on left side, just because that seems like the safe route every time.
Mm-hmm. It's definitely a higher percent. If Turtle Rock doesn't have pegs down, it's definitely faster from the bottom work.
Good to know.
Good to know.
Thank you, Carcat.
Are you saying, assuming that the player hasn't already been to T-Rock?
That is what it sounds like, and it's something I've considered, although never fully known.
Yeah, I mean, that would make sense, of course. Oh, and there it is. Wow.
Right away.
That was not the fastest G-Tower, but pretty dang fast, I'd say.
I believe that was the 6th location that was checked, and he has 2 small keys, so he knows he can head straight up.
Mm-hmm. And just skip everything else. Doesn't have to check any other chests. He just has to face the gauntlet. Land Mola 2, Moldorn 2, Aga 2, and then I'm really excited to see his Ganon fight.
So both players dealing with mimics at the same time, although in different locations, of course.
How uncanny. Yeah, unfortunately for these HUDs, we do not have the go button, but if you see a player... Well, I guess, yeah, at this point, both players have the go-ahead to finish in Boss Rush. Honestly, once Final Form got the Ice Rod, before he even got the lamp, he technically had everything he needed to finish the game. Oh, interesting. There are 2 ways you can do this room. 3 ways, actually. You can just hope for the best and charge through, often having to stop and wait for some cannonballs to go by. You can also fall off the ledge immediately, and then they'll give you invincibility frames as you dash on through, or using the cape. But using the cape often, you have to open the menu, and then you have to open the menu again to switch to a different item, but everybody has their different route. What do you often do, DT?
I typically just dash a bit about as far as I can until I see I'm about to get hit, hold back left, and then just kind of slowly inch my way forward. You don't always have a high amount of health going into that cannonball room, so falling off just to get the iframes and dash through, while basically guaranteed, isn't always the safest at the same time, just because health can be an issue. However, most of the time in randomizers, it does seem that the magic cape is available, or even the Cane of Burna in most cases.
That is true.
So yeah, numerous locations. My preferred is to just kind of inch my way through.
In final form with the free and easy... Ooh, and the super bonk that you get from healing Helmasaur right in the middle of the room.
I didn't know that was a thing.
It's always nice to see. And Kanzeon having a little bit of trouble with the land mole fight. Usually if you miss the first cycle, it's almost better just to switch to Fire Rod. Also, Butter Sword is just 2 hits each. Because you never know which way they're going to pop out. Oh, there we go. We got the last one, the Silver Arrows.
So Final Form's going to need to make a trek back to Misery Mire, which should be fairly quick to finish up. Getting to the boss room isn't overly time-consuming.
Yeah, overall, Kanzeon making quick work of the gauntlet so far. Hasn't really had too much trouble, spare for the occasional pesky Salphos. And those ice rooms are always a little trouble. Ooh, and that's really nice seeing that quick one cycle in that room. Sometimes that top right Wizrobe likes to get away from you. Electing to use the torch. Despite having half magic, Fire Rod might be faster, but at the same time, I think it evens out about the same. Oh, and you like to see that with the other... Actually, wait, those are Wizrobes. What are the other ones called? Are they both Wizrobes? Are they blue Wizrobes? I don't happen to have that knowledge.
I assume that they're all some variant of a Wizrobe.
Okay.
I might be wrong. My knowledge of, like... Oh, wow, Bunny Beam got him through the pegs. My knowledge of game enemies and locations and, like, official names is quite limited, I will admit. I usually have fun nicknames for most of the things. But that's about it.
I'm still learning a lot of the some of the caves and stuff that usually are named after the people inside the caves. Carcat has explained that they are both Wizrobes. Just we got Wizrobes and we got fancy Wizrobes.
Pretty nice Moldorm too. Quick hookshot across. This last mini Helmasaur room tends to be quite a nuisance unless you get that dash straight up the middle.
Yeah,
but
yeah. That was a strange hitbox on the right bumper. It almost looked like it was going to hit him, but he must have got the God Pixel. All right, let's see how his
great first setup for Aghanim too. They are not in friendly locations. At least getting 1 hit per cycle is ideal. Having 2 of them lined up right now certainly helps, and he's going to get 1 more hit out of that.
Taking damage there definitely did not help at all.
No. Oh, nice.
Oh, interesting. That worked out very well.
A very peculiar angle.
Do you happen to know how many hits it takes to defeat him?
Is 6. It's
exactly
6. Yep, the same as Aghanim 1.
So potentially they could get a 2 cycle if everything lines up perfectly.
It would have to be lined up exceptionally well.
3 hits, 3 hits. All right, here we go. Moving on to the Ganon fight.
All right, after a long seed with Kanzeon finding the bow very, very late. Of course, having the silver arrows, we're going to make the Ganon fight much easier. So he's got to feel quite relieved. Let's get a little bit of hype going and
let's go.
Hope that he doesn't fall off more than once or twice. Preferably not at all.
I don't think he's going to fall off, but you never know. He's probably feeling those nerves of being like, I don't know where my combatant is. They might be at the Ganon fight too.
So far, he's going fairly smoothly.
Yeah, it's not bad. Butter Sword is very nice.
Phase 3?
It's 6 hits on the first, 6 hits on the second, and then 1 hit each until he knocks each of the sections down. And then it's 4 silver arrows or 12 well-timed slashes. All right, here we go.
If he knows Torch Glitch, he should. He might get hit by that Fire Bat. That's going to be a doozy. He did not. cost of... No, he got Torch Clutch. Fantastic.
That is very good.
And he might have gotten 2 arrows on that. I'm not certain. Not on that one, though. Final Form with a fantastic Vitreous fight.
Very nice.
In his 7th crystal, and he's going to make his way up to Ganon's Tower any moment.
And that's it. That's it. Kanzeon takes it.
We have the dot done. The official race spot time in SRL is 2 hours, 10 minutes, and 3 seconds for Kanzeon. Well done.
Well done. That is incredible.
His comment on the seed was just the word "really."
That's pretty good. 210. That's not bad. Here's the thing. As I went over with my stats earlier, Kanzeon's average was a 202. So it's a little bit below his average, but I'd say that's pretty good.
You know, had he gone to check the Haunted Grove earlier on, he would have been well below his average, so certainly nothing he can fault himself for. Just a little bit of better memory placement for the next seed.
Mm-hmm. That is very true. I'm interested to go back and see what caused him to skip that, whether he found a good item on his way there and just completely missed it entirely. It's highly possible. That was great. Can we get a round of applause for both of our racers? Final Form is still heading on over to go to the Dark World so that they can head into Ganon's Tower. I'm still excited to see how they perform against the bosses and Ganon. So, GG.
Not an ideal time to have issues with these squirrels.
Yeah, what people sometimes don't know, I know it might be slower, but if they're in a spot like this, it's often better to get out the magic powder and you can turn them into the little beanbags and then just walk right through them or kill them real quick.
Very true, and then you actually feel bad about killing them because they actually look semi-cute.
Nah, never feel bad.
Hey, that's fair. The number of issues that they cause people.
Yeah, they're... That plus the cabbages, the green boulders, they make a very, very good duo for messing up your Death Mountains. I'm not sure if Kanzeon wanted to jump in for an interview or not. If they do, because I love the post-game interviews, because of course I want to talk to him. I don't have power to move anyone into here, but if they wanted to jump into the Discord, okay, cool. Fiesel seems to be getting cans for the interview. Beautiful, good.
Yep. He said he would be coming in just one moment. I shot him a message on the IRC. Kanzeon, hello.
I feel your pain.
First off, you did it.
That has to be the worst lamp placement I have ever seen in my life.
I could share the same thoughts. That was something that we were thinking as soon as we saw it.
So how are you feeling? How are you feeling when you found that lamp?
Relieved. I was scrambling around for God knows how long, because I had no idea what I forgot to miss the bow.
No, and that was surely a location you didn't want to check until your very last resort. You never want to head to Turtle Rock if you don't have to.
I'm very curious to see what caused you to skip the bow. Because I feel like that's normally part of the route, and then I feel like something got in the way, you got distracted by something, you're like, ooh, something shiny, let me go do this instead.
I usually do the digging game, and then I go to the purple chest and all that, but something happened with the purple chest. It disappeared in something, or maybe I'm thinking of a different seed I did. But I got kind of distracted by Skullwoods or something, and then I usually do the whole counterclockwise around Dark World, but apparently I just decided, no, I'm gonna be dumb and go the other way.
Did you have
completely forgot?
Did you have the hammer at that point? Because might have happened.
Hammer was on
Hookshot Cave.
World Death Mountain, yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Because what might have happened is you might have gone into the Light World and dropped into Bat Cave with the purple chest, and therefore just skipped because I feel like you went back and checked.
Oh, what happened was I was gonna do the bat cave and then remembered that because I didn't have hammer, so I mirrored by the bat cave and then fell down and then realized, oh wait, I can't get to my portal, so I'll just go check Death Mountain and come back to this later.
I remember that.
Then just completely forgot to do that.
And I believe you did eventually go back and check that cave south of Dig Site in the Light World, and it's where you go down. I believe so. I have to go back and watch.
I was gonna go because I normally check that first and then check the Flute Kid, but I figured I'd check the Flute Kid first because if the Flute Kid gives me something, then I definitely forgot the cave. But it would be pointless to just waste time with like 2 screen transitions going to the cave.
It's
that there's still nothing there.
Very easy to find something along your way that makes you deviate from the route you were trying to go for. You can change your route.
Easily you think that you already did it because you're like, well, no, I normally do that in my route. So
it's so easy to forget those locations that have only the one item, and that certainly hasn't been.
Go ahead.
It certainly hasn't been an uncommon trend in these races so far in the tournament. There's been one item in the majority of seeds that have tripped people up. One location.
I was checking, like, early on, I was checking a few, like, oddball places that were kind of out of the way because I was just afraid of forgetting them later on. Like, I think I did Zora, like, super early. I just fake flippered there. Because I think, like, the last, like, 4 or 5 seeds that I played, Zora has had something. So I don't know.
That was nice to get.
And then it ended up being Fire Rod, which
it was really nice to get super early.
It's nice to have early. It didn't really do anything that early. I mean, I guess I got to check like everything. Well, I could have checked everything in Hera if I wanted to, but the basement ended up being the map or the compass or something left over that didn't matter. And then that let me go do desert and all that. Desert also had nothing, but
and also didn't matter because it was
I mean, it led me to it convinced me to go to desert, and that's where I found the flute. So I guess in
that is true because that was on the
way
ledge.
It benefited me.
Had something. So what made you decide to go to T-Rock before Pod, finishing out the rest of Pod, or doing Meyer? Since
I was kind of running short on ideas, and I figured, okay, I have everything I need for T-Rock. I might as well just go because I don't mind doing the maze room in the dark. Like I've done it before, so
okay.
I figured I can just do T-Rock, and then if I think of something on the way, sure. And then Mimic Cave happened, and the rest is history.
It sure did.
Yeah, as it turned out, you didn't need to. Real quick, I am seeing your bonk count at 47. Not too bad.
Ooh.
47? I mean,
47.
I'm sure, like, it could have been, I guess, a little less than that. I think at Aghanim 1, I was just bonking into the walls. It was like, how high can I get the bonk count to go?
Yeah, and you also did Aga 1 very late, at least compared to your other runner, the other racer.
I wasn't really too keen on doing it, because I think the only thing I had at the time, like, when I had Gold Sword, I think the only thing I had on me was the Moon Pearl. So, like, it didn't really get me anywhere. So it was like, it was a pretty big time sink to check, I guess, 2 locations, because I could check that and the Catfish. I don't know if I had Glove at the time. I can't remember where I found Glove, but
I'm not sure offhand either myself.
Yeah, Aghanim 1 I tend to put off until I run out of ideas.
Yeah,
right.
I'm starting to think that maybe doing Aga 1 as soon as you get like Silver Arrows or Butter Sword is worth doing, just because it's so easy.
Yeah, in retrospect, I guess with Gold Sword it doesn't really take that much, because I had Red Mail too, so like what's the worst, like how hard could it be?
Sure.
Another question for you. How did you feel about mirroring out of
don't ask.
I'm just curious how you felt about mirroring out of Thieves right in front of the big chest.
I literally wanted to scream.
That certainly would have been.
The last seed that I played, that I streamed, I did the same thing, but in a different, I think it was in like Hera or something. It was another dungeon. I was just like, oh, I'm gonna save time and switch over to mirror right now, so I don't have to do it later after the chest open. Of course, I just hit the item button instead of the chest button.
Yeah. It was It was pretty funny. I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty funny. Also, before we ask another question, I just want to give Final Form a shout out. He's doing very well. Like, he had one fall to Moldorm. His Agatu was actually pretty good. I'd say not bad. It was like 3 cycle, maybe 4. I'm excited to see his Ganon fight. Yeah, that's I always love watching to see how a Ganon fight goes for every player. And I actually did a little bit behind the scenes research on both of you guys, because I've never actually raced against either of you, or seen any of your all's races. So I was curious to see what skills you were going to bring to the randomizer. I saw you had NMG any percent PB of a 137.30. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah.
That's a pretty good time.
It's really good. Yeah.
It's all right.
I mean, it's pretty good. Just take the compliment, all right? No, I'm kidding.
Also call it adequate.
Okay, that's good. Would you say that having that NMG skill in your back pocket definitely helps play out? Because you guys, the two of you, actually were pretty on par with your execution of different speed strats and boss fights.
It definitely helped with bosses, and it's like kind of fringy stuff like Meyer too, like being able to one cycle it and all that. And mostly just bosses, I guess. Like, I still have no idea how to do the perfect blind fight, but
oh yeah, that they say it's scripted, but you never know.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, whatever, scripted. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they call it scripted, but I don't know any part of Act 3.
Yeah, you just kind of hope for the best.
Yeah, I had enough hearts. It's good enough.
Not to cut you guys off, I am seeing a dot done from
there we go.
Final Form, final race time of 2:21:32.
That is
going for him. Tough seeds for both of our racers. Each of them looking for one item toward the end, and both of them finding one item in a spot nobody ever wants to see it.
Yeah, Final Form had Bo very early on, but did Meyer and Pod without the lamp, and then ended up leaving before finishing those, before going to T-Rock.
With all the running around I did looking for the bow, like, the only thing I could think to myself was, all right, so my only hope is I have to hope that Final Form doesn't know how to do dark rooms.
There was an attempt. He got into Meyer. He was one screen away from me and done with Meyer, the dark rooms in Meyer, but just didn't seem to know or have the confidence.
I can't even do the Samaria room, so kudos to him.
Yeah, no, that's a very difficult spot.
So would you say afterwards you're gonna learn Lampless now?
I mean, I can do everything in Pod except one of the Dark Maze chests. I can do Turtle Rock, and Myers just forget about it.
Nice.
So it appears that Final Form will not be joining us. He's saying that he does not have a mic available.
Oh, that's...
Hopefully in a moment we might have a message to pass along to everybody. In the meantime, Kanzeon, I have a question for you. Actually, two perhaps.
Go ahead.
Finding the bow so late, what was running through your mind? Did you, or more specifically, how much of your mind was thinking that your opponent already had it and may have been well ahead of you?
I'm positive that he would have had the bow way before I am. Way before I did, because that's just, I mean, that's a place that you really shouldn't forget. But as far as, I forgot to turn my alerts off. As far as him being ahead, I was really just banging on the fact that he wasn't going to roll the dice on doing rooms in the dark, because if you're not comfortable with dark rooms, you're not going to go into Meyer. You're probably not going to go into Pod, and you probably wouldn't. I mean, the biggest question mark would be, is he comfortable doing the dark room in Turtle Rock? Because if he is, for him to find the lamp, he has to be confident enough to go to Turtle Rock.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't have enough confidence to do that, then there's strictly no way he's going to find the lamp unless he does that. But
and that actually ties in perfectly with my subsequent question. When you finally found where the lamp was, did you start to think, well, maybe if it's here, my opponent hasn't come here yet, and he could be missing something vital as well?
Yes, that was the basically the lamp was the big thing, which was like I was kind of bumbling around for the most part, and then when I found the lamp, I figured that like this has to be like the one edge that I could possibly have. But finding the lamp gave me the confidence to say, okay, now I can go do Mire. Hopefully the bow's just in Mire, and I don't have to worry about it.
But it worked out in the end when you were finding the bow, because you could do the 1-2 punch, as I like to say, with Palace of Darkness, Mirror, and then head straight into Eastern.
Yeah, when the bow was like the only thing left, one of the things running through my mind was at least Pod and Eastern are just right on top of each other.
Yeah,
so it's a positive.
That's actually a good routing
gloomy situation.
option too. Being able to just teleport right over.
Pretty much entirely accidental, but it worked out.
So I do have a message from Final Form, though. He just wants to say that it was his first race, and in any speed game, really, and that he's super stoked to have survived this Heartless Seed, and that any time was a good time for him. So fantastic.
Yeah, I would say just dot-dunning on this one is an accomplishment.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And based on the stats that I gathered, his average was a 211, so this wasn't too far off for completion. So not bad. Very good from both these racers. It was such a fun race to watch and commentate for. Thank you so much for putting up a good fight. That was good. I loved watching the struggle for that bow. It was good. It was entertaining.
It was an intriguing one.
Entertaining for you.
While we hang out for the next few minutes, we do still have stats to see for Final Form. So one last chance to get bump guesses in, menu time.
I hope it's less than 40, whatever mine was, 47?
I believe you had 47.
So I just want to make sure that everyone understands that when looking for the lamp, there's no way it could possibly be in a part of the dungeon where you have to do it dark. So it would never be in like big chest of Pod. It would never be in the laser room after in T-Rock. So it's also just something interesting to think of.
Yeah. So
I'm gonna guess 37 bucks. 39. 42. Wait.
Are these still your guesses?
It hasn't showed up yet, so I can change my guess.
All right, fair enough.
I bet 42 kappas that it's 42.
I'm gonna say 45, which would be my total if I didn't. Well, actually, no, probably like 44, 43 if it was my total minus the bonks and Aghanim 1.
So, do you have any things you're going to work on for your next race? You're going to practice.
I'm gonna pray to every Hylian god I can think of that I never see a troll item placement like that for the rest of my life.
More so that than the location of the bow.
The bow's my fault. The lamp, I'm blaming the seed for that.
There's something
all the seed's fault.
Something I could say about the bow location is that's something that you can definitely remember to check in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Saving the lamp location until the very end, that's not something that you're going to save until the future, because that's not a spot that anyone's going to rush up to go thinking, oh, I forgot last time.
Right, yeah.
I'm probably never going to see the lamp there again.
And I sincerely hope that nobody ever does.
So many things have to happen for that to happen.
I'm still waiting for lamp at Master Sword pedestal.
Oh god. I always check the Master Sword pedestal because I'm waiting for the day that something trolls there.
It's always Couch Cash, but...
Yeah,
Couch Cash, a little piece of love.
Yeah, a little piece of love. I heard ACM found Ice Rod there once.
Oh yeah, I remember that seed. Also, there was one where it was Ocarina.
Ocarina, oh god.
Interesting to see when the first time might be that it turns up in this tournament. I don't believe that it has yet.
No, nor do I think Sahasrara has had anything useful yet.
He did, actually. There was a seed last night that had the boots in the vanilla location.
Oh, man.
44 bonks. We got 44.
Yeah. I think I kind of win that with my 3 guesses.
I lose
a lot of rupees, almost 2,000.
2,000.
Yeah, there was a lot. That one room that had like the 4 chests that all had like 100 or 300, 350
off of that cave. It was like 300, 350, 20.
That was pretty good.
Well, all in all, I have to say, fantastic race. Terrible seed.
Terrible.
But each one of you was
that
looking for a
seed-
different key item, and
I got some words for that seed, but I can't say them in front of this audience.
I mean, I got what I wanted. I wanted a nearly 100% item run, so I'm satisfied.
I mean, the only thing you can be upset about is the Ganon's Tower big key.
Oh yeah, that was good. That was easy G tower. It was like a sigh of relief. Like, oh, thank you. I've been through enough. I'll take my big key and go.
Right. If the randomizer can hear me, I'm still waiting for the big key in Ganon's Tower to be on the torch with the boots in Turtle Rock and the medallion for Turtle Rock to be in Ganon's Tower.
the only way I could think that might be able to happen is if Turtle Rock is a pendant dungeon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, why don't you guys start making a randomizer of that?
That sounds
Someone might have already
terrible.
started that.
Well, beautiful job. Like, seriously, this was so much fun. You got any last words, Kanzeon? I hope I said your name right. Is it Kanzeon or
It
Kanzeon?
is, yes.
Okay,
Kanzeon.
okay, good.
So we've been lucky for the past 2 hours then.
Yeah, so whew, we good.
Can you imagine the shame if you got it wrong?
It'd be a shame. It'd be a shame. But yeah, GG, dude. Good job.
Very good job on the win. Very close race from both of you.
I'm
nail biting, even that you two were very neck and neck for a long time.
It definitely was stressful.
Yes.
Yeah.
You handled it well, though.
Now that you got your first tourney race out of the way, now you can kind of just lay back and relax, right?
Oh, absolutely.
So that's good. I hope the next race I catch of you guys, I see some more dark strats. So we'll see.
Oh, well, maybe.
I hope I see a lamp in Escape. How about that? Is that better?
I mean, there's things I'd take over the lamp. But sure, we could have a lamp in Escape.
What, you don't want bottles and heart pieces? Those are pretty nice.
Bottle's okay.
Well, thank you so much for joining us for this little interview. DT, do you have anything?
I'm actually curious, very quickly, yes, on the note of escape items, what would be your most ideal escape item then, if you prefer something over the lamp?
Mirror?
Yes,
because
okay.
you can grab Zelda and then just mirror to the entrance.
Fantastic.
Oh, I never thought about that. That's really nice.
That's my only other thing to chime in with at the moment.
That would be a quick time save, but I personally would rather get the boots. Because once you have the boots, then like you save so much time doing everything, overworld, dungeons. You hate to, like
boots are nice. We gotta practice your NMG escape.
Yeah, that's for sure. Save at least a full minute on escape. Sub 5 incoming.
Awesome.
It appears that we have another race at 8 a.m. Eastern Time. There's nothing more for the evening, but it will be right here on the Speed Gaming channel.
Sounds good.
So,
Well,
Kanzeon, thanks for
guys.
joining us. It's a shame that Final wasn't able to, but mic issues and whatnot. It's understandable.
Yeah, I really wanted to
fantastic
hear
race.
his
Congrats on the win.
perspective. Yeah, dude, congrats.
Yeah, it was fun. I'll see you guys later then.
Alrighty. Take care.
And I am in the name of DT. We are going to head out of here along with Willard J. Bradley. We hope that you enjoyed our time together.
Yeah, Chad, how'd I do? First time commentating.
First time
7?
commentary. I say you gotta
5
give
out
it
of
up for
7?
him. He was fantastic. I would give him a 8 out of 7.
Oh, it appears the 8 a.m. match has been canceled.
Well,
So
good to know.
everybody can sleep in. I permit you to sleep in.
All right.
Thank you guys so much for having me.
evening.
This was a lot of fun. I'm definitely going to be commentating more throughout the rest of this tourney because I had a blast. I still have coffee to drink. Thank you guys so much. This has been me and DT. Kudos. GG. Good night.